We are streaming live. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Politick'N as usual, the Black Friday edition with your favorite alderman, Jamisha Harris. I have my lovely co-host tonight, Miss Talina Messi. And we have yes, and she's rocking autism. I love it. That's what's up. And we have our beautiful Black men tonight. We're supposed to have 4. You know how we do. One is late. Hopefully he dropped on Clee. We have Uncle Ben. Oh, yes, I did shout him out like that. We got Van. I call him Uncle Ben. He is an OG, my political brother in the fight, Brandon, and the wonderful Zach, but he probably likes to go by Bone Brown. So which one of y'all want to jump in and tell us about yourself so the audience can see who gonna be spitting them gems?
I'll start it off.
All right now.
I'm Van. Y'all heard of me. I'm 55 years old. I got 2 kids, a son and a daughter, picture perfect. My son the oldest, my daughter the youngest. If the first topic is going to be fatherhood, I want to say this to start. I absolutely feel that being a father is the very best part about being a man. I mean, I got a wife, we have sex and the whole thing, but the best part about being a man is having those young ones of mine come to me with their problems, seek out some advice, then they don't take it, but anyway, they at least ask me for it, and I get to brag, I'm the brains of the outfit, so it's that to me is the best part about being a man. I get to be their dad, and I'm invested in their outcome. And I'm responsible, and I feel 100% accountable for their outcome. So I take my job serious about being a father. And I just wanted to put that out there.
Listen, are you trying to get Father of the Year for
a birthday coming up? What is going on?
I mean, Christmas is around the corner. I mean, is you trying to get ham on Thanksgiving? What's going on?
Yeah.
But I've seen it in action, so I'm not even going to front room. And two, just so people know, this man, and he won't admit to it, is one of the reasons I was able to get into politics, because he had me out here canvassing for Mr. Wallace against Mr. Bernard White, who is Uncle Bernard White, and I didn't know at the time. And you got me on the Duff Fest. So you and Talina really sparked the interest of what I do now. So moving on to Brandon, so you can't respond. Brandon, come on and let them know who you are.
My name is Brandon Ewing. I am a father, husband, live in Waukegan, Illinois, so about 40 miles north of Chicago. Super excited to be on the show this evening. I also am the founder of a group called Fathers Matters, which actually is a Facebook page which was designed to promote fatherhood amongst our people. And so we started off with a group of 10. We now have over 844,000 people who like the page.
I'm gonna need you to give me a shout out or something like followers.
So we grew it just from, how do we support one another? I was a teen father. And so while I had an example, so it was easy for me to step up and kind of have an idea about what a father was supposed to be. For some of my friends who were in the same situation, that was a little bit tougher. And so we decided to be each other's accountability partners to make sure that we were doing what we needed to do to try and break some of those generational curses. So I'm excited to be here, ready to talk about relationships and fatherhood and all that fun stuff with you guys this evening.
All right, thank you. And last but not least, drum roll, Mr. Zach Bone Brown, please. step to the mic and tell us about you, my brother.
What's up, man? Y'all know me. Yeah, Bone, man. First I say I'm glad to be here. I got 2 kids, Zeke and Cara. They're my babies. They twins, so they're my hearts for sure. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here. My perspective now is a little bit different. I used to be a hellraiser. Y'all know I was a hellraiser in the politics and everything else. That's what I thought my position was, to raise hell and all this.
You muted yourself. You hit mute.
I mean, we gotta have this conversation, but it's got to be a conversation where, we got to get real to the point where we can't play victim in this conversation. So I'm on this conversation, but we can't play victim no more once we start having this conversation. Like, we all gonna have to step up, and if we gonna have this conversation, let's let it mean something when we hop up off of here. You dig?
Oh, okay. Listen, I'm ready. Okay, because the ladies, they slow to get on, but they gonna see it, because these podcasts, we be hitting them numbers on the views. Okay. They definitely want to see what y'all have to say, so make sure give us a little insight, because just like y'all say we got this big ass book on how to figure out about women, y'all book is big too. Okay, it's hard to figure y'all out, so help us out. And I'm gonna throw it to Talina so you can introduce yourself so people know about you. And
oh man, what qualified me to come up here and co-host with the beautiful Jamisha Harris is that we are I think we are 2 sides of the same coin. That's the yin and my yang right there. You so silly. She from Albany, I'm from Buffalo, New York. It just worked out that way when we was down here. I am a mother myself. I have 2 children, 2 teenagers. My son is the oldest. My daughter is obviously the youngest. And it's hard out here in these streets for a parent, but it is. I have been married before. I have been obviously around Black men all my life. I had a Black father who was very instrumental to my view and what a man should be. He was actually a quadriplegic and did everything that he could to try to make money from his hospital bed to ensure that I had something. I mean, my father sold Avon. He sold Mary Kay. He sold Sprint phones. He sold pagers, like everything. So
pagers.
Yes.
Look at you hear Zach trying on his cell phone, like
little tink trying.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Baby boomers.
Man, I got people calling. I want to keep calling while I'm up here.
Tell them to stop calling, because the conversation fitting to be popping.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, that just really fueled my spirit, and a lot of stuff in here that we'll probably talk about as far as my a woman's zero tolerance towards a lazy man or anything like that. I know that I have some things with me because of the things that I saw, and I think every little girl does, based on the definition of a father that they were given, which is so important. So now I'm here. I'm in New Bern. I'm a Marine vet. I came back to where I was first stationed, where my kids, where my son was born anyway. And we just here trying to figure it out in New Bern. But we run into a lot of interesting characters. Like she said, Van, she met you and you inspired her so much. Brandon, your story is an inspiration within itself. I mean, I'm just very interested to really delve into what you guys' definitions are, because you've lived it. It's a lived experience. You guys have the ability to give us a peek behind the curtain tonight. And I'm really interested in what you guys have to say.
And y'all know me. I'm married, going on 10 years. Have 3 kids. One is about to be 16 on Monday, about to have a 13-year-old. Got a 5-year-old little girl who is a mini me, a duplicate. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, but I got to do right. I got to set an example for her. I prayed for her, and everything that I asked God for, he gave me. And I got to ask him, why did I ask you for that? Because she is off the chain, but I love it. So we are so excited. And also anybody that's watching, ladies, if you have like these deep burning questions that you need answers to, put them in the comments. We watch in the comments. we'll ask the question and see if we can get that answer. They're going to keep it raw and real because it's real people having real conversations. But I'm going to pass the mic to Talina because I know she got some questions because I got to get mine together.
Right. So I guess caveat off of what I just said, what was your first introduction to what you thought a man should be? Or what was your first definition of what you thought a man should be?
I'll jump in, and that's what I meant by the example, is I had the privilege of not only having my father, but also my grandfather. My dad and my mom, they weren't together from anything that I can remember, right? But my dad was always involved in my life. So he had a blueprint, and they figured out the co-parenting thing. While it wasn't perfect, they definitely created an example. But I remember when I was younger, and I would get ready for school, my dad would tell me this. He would say, "You're a young man. And as a young man, you don't follow the standard, you set the standard." And the standard that he was talking to was related to my grandfather. My grandfather and my grandmother, we got a 33-year marriage, on the line, but my grandfather and my grandmother have been married 56 years. And so growing up, and I saw an example of someone who went to work, knew how to provide, came home, loved his family, looked out for the community. And that was my template of a man, is to love God, love your wife, be there for your family, and be there for your community. And those were kind of the four tenets that I try and live my life by.
Amazing. Zach, you got it together?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, my part was Franklin Brown, God rest his soul, past 2016, the Donut Man. So I come from two preachers, you know what I'm saying? Apostle Deliverance Temple Church. And my part was a hard worker, man. My part was a man's man. That man did everything that you were supposed to do. He took care of my mama. He took care of us, you know what I'm saying? He never treated my mama wrong, never saw him disrespect my mama, never really saw him disrespect nobody else. He took care of us, taught us how to get up early in the morning, go to work, take care of yourself, take care of your family, man. And he just taught us to keep God first, you know what I mean? And as a man, you do what you need to do to make happen what need to make happen. And that's what, you know what I mean? That's what me and my brothers hold our lives by now, because we saw that in him, and he made sure he instilled that in us, you know what I'm saying? So we make sure we instill that into our kids.
Awesome. What about you, Van?
I just had a raw example. I got 7 brothers and 2 sisters. We all got the same mother and father. I've always felt like my mother was the genius because she was sweet and nice with it. But as I grew up and be a father myself, I learned that my father was a genius, even though he was stoic and a man of few words. But he used to tell me things like, you hang with 9 broke friends, you bound to be the 10th one. Quick little shit like that. I'd be like, what is he talking about? But as I grew older and had kids of my own, I understood what he was talking about. So, but when he died, we were estranged. We were, I was going through that part of life where I wanted to be like him, but there couldn't be 2 hymns in our house. There could only be 1 hymn. And he gave me the my way or the highway speech, and I took the highway. And before I could come back to him, he had a stroke and died. And I went off in the Navy. I was supposed to go see him, but I didn't. So when I went in the Navy, he died while I was in boot camp. That guilt filled me up and really tore my young life up, because I was mad at myself because I didn't go. Don't get me wrong, he was a good dad. He was the man and everything, but he just was a man of few words. So we didn't have a good relationship. And everything he was trying to teach me, I couldn't get because I was steady trying to be like him. But again, there can't be 2 alpha dogs in the house. And I guess he didn't know how to handle it, and I didn't know how to handle it. And when it all played out, he had died, and I was left holding the bag. I still feel some sort of way about that today, even though I've grown up and everything, but I still feel some sort of way about that. But he was definitely the raw example of a dude, of a man. And I find myself becoming him more and more, but I am tempered with the fact I don't want my son who's 20 now, for us to have that communication gap, and he missed the message because of the delivery.
So, what you were saying, and just so you guys know, Politicking as usual, we support small Black business because we want it to be big Black business, minority business, small business. So usually around the 7:45 mark, we have a live commercial. So it gets paused, they come in, talk 5 minutes, and we jump back in. But to caveat off of what you were saying, Uncle Van, being like the fact that you had that male father figure in your life, and you being a father and having a 20-year-old son, do you, like, with any mistakes that you may have made growing up, do you like force your child to not have those experiences to kind of learn from their own mistakes? Or do you get frustrated because they're not listening to you, because you might have done the same thing? Because I know, even with me as a kid.
That's my whole existence. Trying to get him not to make the mistakes that I made. My wife would sit there and tell you, well, you did such and such. Well, that's the point. I don't want him to be like me. I want him to be better than me. Sure, I made those mistakes, and I didn't listen to my dad. But at the same time, I'm trying not to be so overbearing that I push him away from me. And it's tricky. I'm like,
your mistakes made you who you are today. So what if you trying to project your outcome of your regret on him alters what is supposed to happen for him to
That's retarded. Tell that to the first person who stuck a fork inside an electrical hole. Don't he wish that somebody had told him, don't do that? That's a mistake.
That's true. You can't use that example. I mean, duh.
Right. But sometimes that experience creates, it adds to the culmination of the experiences that make you you. Now you shouldn't stick that fork in there. Somebody might have told you, you might have heard, but now you shouldn't put it in there. And we don't want our kids to go through the same pain and hurt that we went through making that mistake. But sometimes, you can only tell them so much.
No, and I think it's actually, I've seen the opposite, right? Is we try and be perfect to our kids. So we don't tell them about our past or our situation or what happened. And I know even with me and my dad, right? My dad, my grandpa were my heroes, but they had struggles. Yeah, I didn't know about those struggles. And so when I'm coming up in life and I'm facing those same struggles, right? It's like, oh man, this happened to me, or this is how I navigated that, or this is what I dealt with. And so one of the things that I'm trying to break the cycle of, and my kids are younger, like my oldest is 12, but is really making sure that I'm telling them about my mistakes, is because a lot of times you want to be perfect in your kids' eyes. And what I realize is that perfection, or the appearance of perfection, has a cost. Is because eventually they're going to see, right, that you are not perfect. And if you haven't been honest, that could really damage the relationship. As well as if I'm not telling them, hey, I struggle with that. Your granddaddy struggled with that. Your great granddaddy struggled with that. Like it I think sets them up for failure. So you don't want your kid to stick the fork in the electrical socket. So you want to tell them about that and that it could cause them pain. And if they still choose to do it, at least I shared the information, right? I helped you, or tried to dissuade you, and hopefully they won't make the same mistake, but they're going to make their mistakes. And what do you do after they mess up? So
right. How you feel about that, Zach? You agree with them?
I agree in a point, but I think it's even deeper than that. You know what I mean? Like, and Talina, I know you know this because you work in like the brain field or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Like most of the times what we put into we instill that fear and everything that we've known from the past. You know what I mean? It comes down from generation to generation. So we only instill what we know, but there's got to be somebody that does not keep going with that same thought pattern. Just like generational curses and all that. There's got to be somebody to tell your kid that you know, you ain't even got to tell them that their grandfather and them went through it. It's just, yo, you don't have to be this. Like, speak, like, you got to speak life into our, like, these kids. Like, you know, you look at the Jews and all them, they tell you, get them a kid from 0 to 7. That kid trained for the rest of their life, because, you know, you go through those theta waves, the delta waves, that subconscious. So a kid from 0 to 7, what you put into that kid is going to be subconsciously in that kid for the rest of their life. So it's like we got to start learning how to program our kids the right way for them to be successful. We got to start learning, because Steve Jobs and them, they programming their kids to be successful. They not letting their kids, and I'm guilty of it myself. They not just allowing what we think a black man is. You know, we putting that on our kids. You know what I'm saying? We just tell them, well, as a black man, you should be this, you should be that. Like, what you want your child to be, like, that's why you were given that job. God gave you that assignment. Like, yo, don't mess it up. Tell your kids, you want your kid to be great and stuff, start instilling them. You ain't got to tell the kid, I struggled growing up. You ain't got to, no, your kid, you rich, son. You a businessman. Like, we just got to start speaking life and stop speaking from the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Because once you keep speaking from the struggle, what your kid gonna see in everything else is the struggle. So instead of him looking at the glass half full, he gonna look at it as the glass half empty. But we think we helping them by telling them to struggle all the time. But all we really doing is setting them up to face that struggle, when we can set them up for something better if we decide to take that road and just be like, look, you know, I'm gonna teach my child something totally different. I'm not, you know, forget all that stuff in the past with my father. They did the best they could. My daddy did the best he could with me. And he taught me some good stuff. But now my job is to teach my son something greater. It shouldn't be we staying stagnant or we going backwards. Are we still having the same? Since my granddaddy was an alcoholic, your granddaddy was an alcoholic, you're gonna be an alcoholic. At some point, somebody gotta be like, yo, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead, and if we gonna break it, it starts mental. So we gotta start programming, especially as fathers. We gotta reprogram ourselves first, so that we can reprogram our kids. Because if we look at the system now, the reason why it's going on, because we ain't reprogrammed ourselves. So what we think is the right way to do it, if we look at what we're producing, it ain't. Because we producing more black kids and stuff in jail now. You feel me? So I feel like we got to start taking a responsibility to retrain ourselves so we can retrain our kids in a better position.
I felt that, and I what did you say?
We're gonna stick a pin in there. I see Teresa's here. So for
Yes, Miss Bryant, are you guys ready to come on?
Hey, can't stop, won't stop.
Look at y'all. All right, so unmute yourself. I'm about to put it in speaker view, so all of everybody's just gonna see y'all talking. Can you hear us? You gotta unmute yourself.
Can you unmute her as a host?
It says I can ask for her to unmute, but it's let me see. I'm gonna hit ask to unmute. Look at go ahead. Can you? Okay, I can hear you a little bit. What audio output are you using? Y'all on a laptop? Okay, check and make sure your audio is when you're talking, go to your preferences. Y'all on an Apple or you on an Android? If it's an Android, I can't help you. Uncle Van, Zach, y'all got them Androids.
Oh, my Android worked perfect. I don't even play this over here. I don't even play that. I don't even see on that one.
Androids.
How about sign out and sign back in for your audio to connect? Do that.
Or dial in if it's not working.
Oh yeah, you could dial in too.
So I guess my question, based off of what Zach was saying, is at what point, because we know exposure is a double-edged sword. You expose kids to good stuff, expose them to bad stuff. At what point do we expose the child to, I don't know, somebody else in our village who, you said we got to break the generational curse of not wanting our kid to stick the fork in the plug. At what point do you introduce them to, or allow yourself to have assistance to somebody who knows that they got safety plugs now for these walls?
Right.
You know, but if you don't have that knowledge, if you didn't know that, you couldn't teach that to your child. So
right.
We don't always have the answers. And sometimes we have to be willing to allow other people or part of the village to come in and help us raise those kids and be a part of that experience. So
now just unmute. All you got to do is unmute because it connected.
Can you ask them again?
Ask them to unmute. It's all right.
It's all right. Y'all look lit.
Yes, they do. I know whatever they got to say about to be popping.
Right. The devil is a lie.
It shows that y'all got to hit the unmute button on your Zoom. So you should be able to tap your screen, and with the same place where you showed the turn off video, you're gonna hit mute, unmute.
No.
Now y'all know Newbern is watching, right? And they're gonna be looking at Mrs. and Mrs. Bryant like and then you got Zach with the typing. Yo, tonight is the night. I'm telling you, this about to be lit.
I'm trying to get everybody, my bad, man. I'm trying to get everybody cool on my end, man. So I'm trying to calm everybody down. My fault.
Oh,
get your fizzle straight.
Yo, get them in line, Zizak.
Right.
Zizak.
Oh, your office hours was 9 to 5. Did you tell me?
But what I was gonna say when Zach was saying that stuff is though, you know, being that the majority of everybody on here is Black and we have Black sons and what is going on in this world now. Yes, you can speak positivity in them, but you still got to talk to them about history. Y'all say something so I can hear you.
Yellow.
Woo! All right, hold on that thought I was about to say. Listen, everybody, again, Politick'N as usual, the Black Friday edition. We are all about small business, about to be big business. We do live commercials. So tonight our live commercial is from Mr. and Mrs. Bryant, and they got something delicious to tell you. Go ahead.
Yes, we do. Hey, how y'all doing?
What up? How you doing?
What up?
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. We are Life Changes with Total Life Changes. We just started September 16th. Total Life Changes is a health and wellness company that was started in 1999 by Mr. Jack Fallon. We have over 30 different products to help you with your weight loss, health and wellness, energy, longevity. What else we got?
Like you said, energy.
Yeah, sleep problems. It's an array of different products to help you reach whatever goal you have pertaining to your health and wellness. A little of the backstory with us. Let me see. I started back in 2018, actually taking the product. I wasn't consistent. Sodas were my biggest downfall. It wasn't until January 2020, when I started getting consistent. I got tired of squeezing into my clothes, just feeling uncomfortable. I know my ladies can relate to that. I don't know about you fellas, but it was just to a point where I was just tired of being sick and tired of not feeling good, always sleeping, always tired. I'd come home on my lunch break and take a nap. It was horrible. But it wasn't until, like you say, early January of this year that I really got serious about being healthy and being the best me I can be, So I started regularly with the tea and the NutriBurst that we offer. And it was like from January to now, I'm down like 35 pounds. I feel good. I'm waiting to go back to the doctor and he tell me that I could come off those blood pressure medicine. That's my next goal there, and it was just like, a light bulb went off, because both of us, we have many different medical issues that run through our family. And it was just like, it was time to take a stance on it. I heard somebody say something about generational curses. Basically, That's what we're trying to break, and just be able to, again, be the best us that we can be. And it's been up from there, I was a little hesitant about getting into the business, but my partner right here. You know, he kept pushing me, and you know, I'm actually a product of the product. So what best, you know, person could it be to be out here trying to, you know, help others get well? And that, like I said, that was the main goal, just wanting our loved ones as well as anybody we come in contact with. We want to help be the best you can be, you know. So it was like you saying, September, it just happened. It was too many signs for me to say no, you know, so I had to jump on it. It was confirmation after confirmation. And like you say, my hubby jumped on with me, you know, be that support that I need, because this type of platform is not me, you know. So we kind of got started together, and once like COVID came in, we really kind of incorporated other things to kind of help try to build, you know, our immune system. But the two biggest, I'm sorry, I'm just talking. You got something you want to say?
No, go ahead, finish up, Ray.
Okay. But I don't want to take too much of y'all time, but the two products that I started with that have really taken on with me is our IASO detox tea. This tea, it provides a gentle detox. It eliminates the toxins and parasites from your body. It cleanses all your vital organs. It just makes you feel good overall. And like I said, with all of us, we have to do that, you know, not constant, but we need to cleanse our body out in order for it to work properly as it should, you know. And it has 9 herbs, as well as it's caffeine free, all organic. And this one, you actually have to make it yourself. This is the steep tea. But I started with this one. I've been sticking to it. It worked. It got the job done. Eventually, I ended up moving to incorporating our NutriBurst. This right here is the bomb in a bottle, okay? It's helped me so much, like I said, with the energy and not feeling sluggish and wanting to do things. I mean, it's sometimes late night. I'm still up going, you know, and looking at me like I'm crazy. But this particular multivitamin, liquid multivitamin, we've had testimonies from children as young as 2 taking it. So it's good for the entire family. It actually has taken a tablespoon of this is equivalent to eating 10 salads a day. Nobody eats 10 salads a day. It has 19 amino acids, 12 fruits and vegetables, 72 vitamins, and 18 vegetables. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with it, you know. So I've never, like you say, been the one who wanted to sell things or, you know, but after being on the product and being a product of the product, it was only right, you know, because like I say, my main goal is to help others reach that goal of feeling healthy, you know. So
I love how you say that you're a product of the product, because that tea, so not the one that you have to make, the one where you can pour it in the water. I'm always like, you know, I don't know how it's going to taste, but it is good. I'm not even going to front. It was good. So I am going to be, because yes, sis, it's delicious. Okay. It's easy to go down, especially because, you know, when I was in the hospital, I was on pain meds and it stopped you up, and I wasn't going for a while. That sparked it up. So I appreciate it. That was a blessing. But I do want to get the NutriBurst, because I don't do vitamins. Like, I don't know. I'm one of those women. I can't do the all-in-one vitamin. It's too much. Yeah. But I do. So like, if people need to order or they want to try the product, I don't know if you do samples or not, but how can they get in touch with you guys? You have a website? Do they hit you up on Facebook? How can they get the information so that they can support?
Our website is retail.totallifechanges.com/King Bryant 07. That's how they can get to our website. If it's social media, I got to get my Instagram up, but I have Facebook. That's Tree CTRESSE Bryant BRYANT and Facebook. And what's yours?
Dino the Barber 728. That's my Instagram handle. And also, I did want to throw in for the fellas, we do see a lot of women posting and a lot of women, you know, speaking about the product. But myself, again, I was one that was kind of skeptical about the products as well, because I thought it was just really like a female thing until my wife started, encouraging me, as well as I was seeing the results, within her. And when I started taking, I was having an issue with being bloated, because with my work schedule, I eat so late at night. And eating late at night, you get up in the morning, you're feeling all sluggish, you're feeling real tight, from, again, eating and laying down on it. And once I started, taking the tea, and it was really helping me reduce any of that bloatness as far as my stomach feeling tight and, that sluggishness that I was feeling first thing getting up in the morning. And when we started dealing with, the chaga, we have a product also called the chaga, which is immune builder. And this right here helps build up the immune system. So especially when the COVID situation came, that's when I really dove in, all in with, taking the chaga. And again, in the morning time, I feel good. Throughout my day, I feel, good all day long. And I go hard from the morning until, I lay down. And again, I'm not feeling sluggish or feeling any kind of crash as you would taking some kind of energy drink or something. So again, I can second for the fellas about that, not hearing or seeing too many fellas, dealing with the product. I do want to encourage the fellas, it's definitely something for you, not just for the weight loss, but at the same time to be able to back your immune system. Help.
Donnell!
Did you just say what the F? You was a hot mess with your old boomer ass.
I'm listening to this man, and I don't know who he is. I'm listening. Sound like man.
What's up, man?
I love
How
it.
you doing, bro?
Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a question. I got, I'm suffering from diabetes and high blood pressure, and I got this thing I'm identifying as insulin resistance. Does any of that help me with this insulin resistance? That taking insulin, I'm gaining weight. I'm trying to fight it, but
well, I will say first, Van, you want to definitely, we can introduce the product to you, but before just taking the product, we would suggest that you do, run it by your doctor first, just to be able to find out and what coincides
Smart
with
business,
the insulin
right there.
and, see what it will, do to help you out. But we do, again, we have a lot of individuals that's, diabetic and taking insulin, high blood pressure. I mean, we have an array of, issues within our families, man. So, again, we are, asking that you do consult with your, physician first before you just, dive head in. But we have been getting great results,
And great
so
testimonies from
and
it,
great
too.
testimonies,
Even,
man.
coming from the doctors, at once they read the ingredients and see everything that's in it, they most times they're on board with it. But like you said, we don't make any health claims, but we do. I mean, I can't say because I'm not a doctor, but I would definitely consult with my doctor first prior to, but we have samples and things like that. If you would like to, take them to your doctor's office and maybe talk to them about it first. And then, like you said, we can go from there.
That's what
we got you covered.
I'll link you up so we can do it. So listen, I'm definitely, I support the product. I weighed 218.5, so I need to get down to 199. So when somebody asks me how much I weigh, I can say one something. You feel me? So before you go, I have to ask you, because I always ask on my Friday edition, you know how we love to have a cookout. So who are you going to bring to the cookout, celebrity style? And they've said dead or alive, and why. So who would you bring and why would you bring them?
I would say Biggie and Pop.
You can only bring one person.
Only one. Well, I'm gonna bring Pop because I know he gonna make it pop. He gonna get it popping.
And drop some knowledge at the same time.
Yeah, he gonna drop some knowledge and have a good time.
Okay. What about you?
Let me see. Dead or alive? I don't know. Celebrity. I bring Vicky then.
Oh, look. Okay, Queen. I feel you. Look at it. Looking out. I'm with it too. You know, I'm from New York, so I'm all about it. Listen, I love you guys. If you want inside of the actual live, drop your website in there again so I can copy and paste it, repost it, so we can make sure that that small business becomes big business. And I'm definitely gonna be getting me some of that NutriBurst. I love you guys. Y'all are pillars in the community. We love y'all. Y'all the bomb. Thank you so much for hopping on my little baby show. I
Love y'all.
appreciate
Y'all,
you.
man. Love y'all, man.
Thank
Hey, man, I'm be getting at you, bro. Good to see you.
That's what's up, man. Good to see you, bro. I'm definitely going to support you, man. No matter what you do, I know it's golden.
Appreciate y'all.
All
Y'all
right.
have a good night.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Speaking of NutriBurst, hey, Zach, don't you take that? Like, I know, Zach, you were like a personal trainer and stuff like that. Do you take NutriBurst? I think I've seen it in some of your videos. You got to unmute yourself, brother.
Yeah, he's on mute.
I don't know where
No
you
fucking
at.
All right,
good.
can y'all hear me now?
There you go. You
All right.
live now.
All right, yeah, yeah, everything they said is right. Yeah, I've been taking it, that NutriBurst, and yeah, the NutriBurst, the chaga, the NRG pills, and all that. Yeah, the tea and stuff. That's the real deal. Everything they said is correct.
Oh wow.
Look at that.
I know it.
That's like a personal trainer.
That tea is good. I'm telling you. I mean, because you know how you get some products where you just be like, you taste it like they make it, it's good, but then when you have to duplicate it at home, the shit is nasty as hell. That little shake up in the bottle is good. So I appreciate it. So go ahead and we put a pin in the needle or a needle in the whatever in the conversation. What's the question you was gonna ask, Talina? Because you was following up on something.
I was following up on, you know, we've heard the saying, it takes a village. How have you grown your village as a father, or do you believe that it's the responsibility of the village or of just yourself? How have you incorporated that into your fatherhood, or as a Black man, period? Was there a village that saved you or protected you? So as it pertains to yourself as a Black man and as it pertains to being a father.
Whoever wants to jump in.
Well, I understand the saying, it takes a village, but you got to be selective who your village members are nowadays. I mean, sorry to say that, and I'm not egotistical, I'm not an isolationist or anything like that, but I keep my circle tight. And if my circle is tight, imagine the circle I keep around my kids. You know, what everybody think ain't what I'm trying to expose them to. You know, I got a different way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, be it right or be it wrong, they my kids. And Michael Irvin, I like football. Antonio Brown, I love Antonio Brown when he's playing football, but he's not gonna raise my kids. So his antics don't matter to me. They get the antics from me. They get that information from me. And I'm real selective who I let inside that circle. I'm gonna be it right or be it wrong. That's where I'm at on that. The village thing is cool, but the village burned down half the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on out there. I don't even come out after dark. And I ain't scared. You know, that's where I'm at.
Do y'all, either one of y'all, have anything, Brandon or Zach, to add to that?
I mean, I'll piggyback off of that real quick. I think that I can definitely see where he's coming from, but I can't agree to it because you can be selective of who that village is. But for me, I let ego go to the point where I want my son to be successful. Let's say I'm not where I want to be or where I want him to, where he can be. So, but if I can find somebody, whether it be in that village or find somebody that I can build a connection with, and then tell them, hey, look, man, there are some things I know, but because I'm not where I need to be, where my son can be that much more. Look, I need your help, bro. Like, because I get it, you know what I mean? It takes a village, you know what I mean? You want to raise the kids the way you want to raise them and still certain things, but at the same time, there are certain things that you may lack. Like, there's certain things I may lack now, you know, that my son needs or that my daughter needs, you know what I mean? And I have to be able to let ego go and just be like, nah, I ain't gonna let them do that. Cause we, as Black men, we've been taught that, like, to not ask for help. you know what I mean, to not want to be, you know what I mean, we've been talking, we're gonna do this on our own and stuff, but if we can get past like there's plenty of people, and for me, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you right now. On this point, I ain't even talking black. I don't care if it's a white man or an Asian man. If he cool with me and he can help my son, and he can help even, let's say, like business. Let's say if I ain't got the best business mind, but I see how he do business, and I know my son got that in him, and I want him to be successful like that. I don't care if he white, I don't care if he blue, green, or all in between, bro. I need you, and you willing to do it. Help me mentor my son. I'll bring him to you, bro. Whatever you need, because I want my son to be better than I was. And that's where I'm at with it.
That's real right there, because you hit on it, because I was just about to say, now we come from a culture where pride is a mother, you know what I'm saying, where especially as a man, you know, you'll be on a trip, you know, there ain't you don't got no GPS. It's back when we had MapQuest directions, you lost as hell. Like, that's how my daddy was. He'll be lost for 30 minutes and he think he know where he going. I'm like, Dad, the gas station, can you ask for some? Nah, I know, you know what I'm saying, until it get real dark and then you don't know where you're going. So it's kind of like, you know, I really respect that, Zach. I'm actually shocked to hear a man say that, you know, that they're okay to reach out to another man if they lack that characteristic in them or that know-it-all to raise, you know, especially a son. That's your seed, you know, so. Brandon, you got anything?
Brandon transformed that pride. He took it even a step further in having his village hold each other accountable for what they were doing. So can you speak on that and how that structure that you guys formed, or that bond, helped you and helped your children?
Yeah, I think especially being a young father, right? You think you're missing out on something. And that's a lot of what I saw is, you know, so what we started to do was I didn't need big commitments. Hey, bro, I'm going to the zoo. You want to bring your kids and come to the zoo with me and my kids? Hey, we going to the Universal Circus. I think, what was it, 120 people. We went to Universal Circus, Black Fathers, bus from Waukegan to Chicago, about exposure. And through those conversations, you model the behavior that you want to see, you model the behavior of other individuals, as you said, and I would see how other men were with their kids. I would see how, you know, some of my friends would see how I was with my kids. And from there, we then started to have, you know, deeper conversations. And we all know, you know, it's like, we got that brother who, hey, when the last time you seen your kids, dog? You know, how old are the kids? And it was more of building. And my thing is, until I have a relationship with you, I have no right to correct you. Right? And then I also don't know anybody else's struggle. And so we just wanted to build community amongst each other, be a support and a resource to each other. And then from there, more organically, those deeper conversations happen. And you know, one of the things that we really talk about too, and I know we probably not getting into it on this live, but the system, especially for fathers, you know, I'm married, we talked about the individual married, but the system, and not victim, you know, we talked about that, not victimization, but it does make it tough sometimes for fathers, right? I remember when, for my oldest son, going and we were doing child support. Fine, I don't have no issue paying child support. But when I asked about visitation, you know what the judge told me? Those are two separate issues.
Yes, they are.
You got to set up another
court. I was a child support worker.
And you got to go so I done took off work to be here for this. You telling me, and I have no issue taking care of my responsibility. Me and the mom already talked, it's fine. But I'm telling you that I want to guarantee opportunity in order to see my child. And you're telling me that that's another court.
That's family court. But see, it's for, you know, because I don't mean to interrupt, but it all depends on the state. Because where I'm from in New York, with my son, all of my junk is together. I have full custody and the raggedy child support that I receive, you know, when I get it. Like you said, that's a whole nother podcast. But you know, so I get it. In every state, it's different. But being in North Carolina as a child support worker for almost 3 years, I was visually seeing, based on race, based on economic status, the difference on how the judicial side of it is like, okay, you got a court date, they looking for these warrants so that when the guy comes there, they're gonna go ahead and arrest them, and they're trying to make their payments. They're trying to do what they need to do. And then sometimes you have the women that they dangle the carrot, the money. Well, you ain't paying me child support, you ain't gonna see your kids. And so I know we were talking about that in the green room about blended families and how to be able to, work that out. So hopefully you'll come back on that one, Brandon. We can have those deep rooted conversations. But my question to y'all is, so that we can go on to another topic. Does everyone here has a daughter, right? No? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Van and Zach, I need your perspective on how you interact with your son based on how you interact with your daughter. Because like when I'm having my conversations with my husband, I'll be like, you can't do certain things with Olivia. Like, I feel like he, as the father, don't raise your voice, don't yell at her. Like, I'm the mom. If I got to yell at her, let me do it, just because I feel like she should just see her father in a certain way. And I could be 1,000% wrong. So y'all could check me so I can go apologize to my husband. But I just feel like the dad has to be different because I'm a daddy's girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to treat me a certain way and you're not going to treat your son that way. And like moms, we treat our boys a certain way and we're stricter on our girls because we are a girl. So please tell me how you govern the difference between your children in regards to the girl and the boy. Go ahead, Uncle Ben.
If I'm gonna go first, I'm guilty that I treat my daughter different, but it's semi-intentional. Mm-hmm. I have to treat her different. She's female, and I have to treat my son different because of the challenges he's going to face. Now, and this is deeply rooted because society has set it up to separate the Black man from the family unit. Mm-hmm. It's women will prosper if they just kick their man out the house and go off welfare, social services, and things like that. They're able to get assistance as long as they keep that man at a distance. The Black man has a whole different, even out of today in politics, in the Democratic Party, they're trying to uplift. They are, deservedly so, put the Black woman as the most dependable voter. So they putting the Black woman in plain view ahead of the Black man. That's why you see some of these Black men creeping off to Donald Trump, because we're alienated in a way. Sometimes it's subliminal. We don't even realize we're being alienated. So I treat my son different because the challenges he's going to face are way more complicated than my daughter. Mm-hmm. And she and it's just instinctual. I treat her a little bit softer, but what I don't spare either one of them from is the truth. As long as I tell her the truth, tell him the truth, I feel like I'm covered. And right or wrong, hell or high water, that's what I got for them. I got the truth for both of them. But of course, I treat my sister different than I treat my brother. I treat my daughter different than I treat my son. I treat my wife different than I treat myself.
Okay.
Zach,
I'm sorry.
Man on the move. What you think?
He got to unmute himself. Yo, y'all, let me tell you, Friday, you got to unmute yourself. This podcast is so...
All right, I'm on. All right.
Thank you. Can you sit down for 5 minutes?
Yeah, 15 backgrounds.
You ain't here.
Hey, look, man.
Are you about to go shopping at
but I'm
Target?
here, but I'm here, and I'm coherent. Ain't like I'm just not listening to Nate answer. So I'm just doing what I gotta do. You know what I mean?
Is you really at Target?
Oh, is he at Target for real?
Yes.
I'm here for play. I'm here for play. Yeah,
I you just pick Target and you're at Target? Lord, go ahead and give a. You got us in the shopping cart now. Good.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
This is my commitment to the struggle where I'm only here with y'all while I'm at Target.
No, that is called multitasking. That's what that is.
He's so talented, so talented. But
Sure.
yeah, I feel like with my daughter, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody said,
Donnell about to jump back on.
Yeah, your son's gonna be closer to your mother, and the daughter's gonna be close to the father. I think, you know what I mean, just because of the heartstring issue. But I think that us as parents need to sit down and have conversations with our kids on how they should be treated and how they should expect to be treated, but also how they carry themselves. We let a lot, and and I've been guilty of this too. You know what I'm saying? We don't really sit down and have those conversations with our kids about, even with marriage and stuff. We kind of wait, and we don't really say nothing about it. We may just talk about like sex or something every now and again. We don't say too much. We do too much of letting TV and the media and all that raise our kids, where they watching it so much that even when we do say something, they've already had everything else put in their mind so much that what you say, it's not really, they hear it, but they're not really going to mess with it until they go through it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But we got to start like having times where we cut TVs off and like, look, tonight we're going to talk about how it should be as a family, the structure of a family. And granted, before we talk, they need to see that. So they just can't be like, y'all talking to us about that, but y'all ain't doing it. You know what I mean? It got to be do as I do. We can't do no more do as I say no more. You know what I'm saying? So they got to see that in the house. You know what I mean? Because most times, even how we look at stuff, people can say stuff, but if you ain't doing it, like, I really ain't gonna take your word for it, because it's like, dude, you ain't even like that. You feel me?
Right.
And so we got to be more conscious of having those talks with our kids, those uncomfortable, what we think is uncomfortable, which is really not. It's helping them. Like, look, as a woman, this is what you need to do, and dad and mom should do it. You know what I'm saying? Mom and dad, we should both help raise both kids. You know what I mean? They should see both of that, because we both give them a different viewpoint to help them from both angles. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, that's my answer to that.
Well, Donnell jumped on perfectly. I know you have don't you have daughters? You got girls. Oh, look at they got the feedback on the cell phone.
All right, I think
listen.
Good.
All right, listen. So you have a daughter, don't you?
Actually, I got 4 daughters.
Woo! Jesus. All right, listen, just so the audience can know specifically who you are, just because everybody else did, tell them who you are, what you do. We see your beautiful wife, how many kids you got, and then answer the question on if you so you don't have do you have a son?
Yes, I got one son. My son is
okay, so tell us how you govern yourself in regards to the relationship and how you treat your son or discipline your son, or how you discipline your daughter. So that's a lot. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, first off, again, my name is Donnell Bryant. We're here on the flip side, away from the business part we was just in. But I am married, and I am, like I say, a father of 1 son and 4 girls. And for a while, I want to speak, because, again, I was a single father for a long time, okay? And just being that single father, I was understanding from a mother's perspective, especially when you started talking about the child support point a few minutes ago. I was definitely on, that side of the fence, as well as dealing with it from, a different angle. But as far as when it came to punishing or, discipline, the kids, it was somewhat like, it wasn't really too different, with how, I disciplined both of them. So again, it was more along the lines of just trying to, again, like I think Zach just said, being that example and making sure that we're doing, the things that we want our kids to do. And that's something that I did understand from years ago, is that, our kids don't listen to what, we say, they do as we do. And so just being able to, come from the angle of dealing with them all, across the board the same way. I didn't want, one to feel more inferior or, than the other, or one feel as if I was doing more with the other one, even though as they got grown, and which all of them are grown as self. My youngest, she's 16 years old. And, I have my son, he's 26. I got my oldest daughter, 23. I got one 21 and one 19. and then my youngest girl. So as years have come and just hearing conversation now, it's like they would be talking as if I was thinking, and me and my wife, when she came in, it was more like they started saying, well, Dad, yeah, you was doing, treating this one this way or treating that one this way. And again, I had no clue that was going on. I didn't feel as if that was going on at the time. And again, it was just a matter of, me doing what I thought was the right thing to do with the tools that I had. And we all know none of us got an instruction book on how to raise our kids. Right. So we just try to go off of what's going on in our families and try to, like I said, try to, imitate and do better with some of the values and skill sets that we were taught to try to instill in ours. So that's definitely, a hit home, topic, for me, as well as, like I say, I know with Van and Zach, Mr. Ewing, like I said, I don't think I've seen his face. He looked familiar, but I don't think I've really met him yet. But just speaking from dealing with them girls' perspective, yeah. And right now, it's still I'm outnumbered. I'm outnumbered with the girls.
So okay, because this can roll into like the relationship part of it. So I'm big on like when we're in the house, because we have a daughter, it's like, I want Erin to interact with me so that she can see what she should have in a man. Like, I love you, giving a hug or whatever. They'd be like, why y'all kissing or whatever? And I want that so that our son can see how they're supposed to treat their wife. But not everybody, not everybody agrees. It's like, some things are like in the bedroom and can't do public display of affection in your own house in front of your kids. Like, what do you guys feel on that matter in regards to like relationships and your wives and your children and how you handle that aspect?
Or girlfriend.
Or girlfriend. Oh yeah, my bad. Girlfriend or entanglement, whatever you got going on.
No, I want to jump in on that one. I think that's something that I try and be intentional about. And I have 3 boys, so all boys over here, but is making sure that I am doing those public displays of affection. They see me buying flowers. They see me bringing home gifts. They see us hugging and embracing. And I got a 5-year-old, my baby. Man, every time I even, lay on my wife, he's jumping in the middle of us trying to, and that's what I got to tell myself. I married her. She's my wife, But I do, I think you want to be intentional. And even when there are times where it's agreeing on rules of engagement. So there are things that we do not do or do not say, or behaviors that we do not demonstrate or should not demonstrate in front of the kids too. Is how do you argue and disagree in a healthy way, right? And I think that's actually more, you talk about PDA, I think that's the easy part. Is how do you disagree in a healthy way? How do you teach?
You can't, I had to put that on the gold mic. Oh God, that is the worst. I swear to God. And that's a whole podcast in itself. Damn. Go ahead, because I'm the worst. I am the worst. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let y'all finish.
Yeah, it. And that's kind of the thing is who we were when we first got together and got married and were and younger parents to who we are now. Is I think that we've had to learn the rules of engagement. And trust me, we don't always stick to those rules. It ain't always fair, but it's trying to at least out of the moment, reflect and change the behavior so you don't do it next time. So.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I like to jump in off of, what Brandon was saying. Again, being intentional about, showing that public affection to, within the kids. And that was something that I was, very big on, with coming up, because, back in the days, I never seen my grandmother and my grandfather kiss and hug. I never saw my father and my mother kiss and hug. I never saw none of that, growing up in the house. And I grew up for the most of my years with my mom and dad, in the house. But when I got, out on my own, that was a big thing that I was worried about. I wanted to, let my kids see, especially like I say, my girls. I want my daughters to understand what type of man they need to be dealing with. And I always told my daughters, never bring a man to, introduce this guy to me, never bring him to me if he can't uphold values that I've been showing you guys. That was something that I've always said, and I told my daughters. And showing my son, like you say, how to treat a woman and how to, like you say, nurture the relationships. Because again, it wasn't something, and it was hard for a long time for me because again, I didn't see it in the household. So my thing was, when I would go to my homeboy's house, I would kind of watch and see how their parents would move and how the conversations would go. And that stuck with me as I grew older. So again, I always show, especially, with my wife, I always show them, saying I love you. We never heard that, really coming from our parents and them, back in the days, even though they might have showed us love, but we never heard them express that they love us. I love you. So my thing was to make sure every night, anytime that we dismiss from each other presence, I'm telling them I love them, they telling me, and I always, like I say, tell my wife and give her a kiss in front of them, no matter what, when we are dismissing from each other's presence, because we want them to know and understand that this is what it's supposed to be. This is how it is really supposed to be. This is how you're going to be able to unite or stay united and just bring that relationship just that much more closer. And that has been, one of the things that we push very hard with doing, like you said, being very intentional. Now, although we can't at the same time beat ourselves up because they don't grow older and display what we shown them. Okay. And for a while I was on myself hard with some of the choices that my kids was making because of the fact I knew I was being intentional, and I was always having them conversations that was real about what's going on in this world and what you're going to be facing as you, grow up. And again, those things, like you say, we can't, my wife always was telling me, babe, you got to stop beating yourself up. You got to stop. You did the best you could do with what you had to do it with.
Right.
And again, like you say, it's just something where I kind of felt, for a while that I was falling short until, like you say, my youngest three of the youngest, kids, how they started excelling and doing, things that I was expecting them to do. And they was doing them on another level. And now that they're grown, we're seeing that they are, and they have been paying attention again to what we were saying and to what we were, presenting in front of them.
I got another question, but hold on. So Brandon, you got to hop off. I appreciate you. Make sure, bless you on what you're going through in your city, my fellow politician. I would love to have you back on another show where you can stay longer and enjoy the conversation, because I love your perspective. But tell everybody anything you need to say, and then you can hop off.
I just want to say thank you guys for the invite. I appreciate the dope space and the conversation. I think we need more of this, conversations amongst Black men, Black women about these topics. I appreciate the transparency of all those involved, and I hope you guys, have a dope conversation. I got another meeting to run to. Otherwise, I would love to stay and stick around. And I'll definitely be back on the show, Politick'N. And remember to vote.
Awesome. Thank you. So since we're talking about relationships, right, and children, I just have to ask, because we do have our beautiful Black men on here. We know that y'all deal with a lot and go through a lot. So how are you able to, and it don't matter if you're married, in the entanglement, got a girlfriend, whatever the case may be, dating, how do you deal with, how do you continue to show that love and stuff to your wife when you do have a lot going on? Like how are you able to balance that part of being a father, still got to be a husband, still got to make sure you're taking care of home, you know what I'm saying? Like with everything that's going on in the world now and what you see, what's going on, how do you kind of like deal with that? Anybody could jump in. Zach, you jumping in? You need unmute. You
Nah,
at
but I
Walmart
will
now?
say this. I will say this. Nah, I'm probably about to hit Walmart though here in a minute. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Now, I would probably say with everything going on, and this is me, and I this is me, and this is my perception. So you know what I mean. But I got to go this way with it because I know now. I like once you learn who you are, everything else you know how to deal with everything else. People, the only reason people don't know how to deal with most things is because people don't truly know who they are, and we stress and stuff over so much stuff. We put a lot of stress and stuff on ourselves, stuff that we don't have to worry about. You know what I mean? Like, I get a lot of people say, even let's say even with the climate right now, with the police and everything, and y'all know I was big on the front lines with that, and I still am as far as you know, there needs to be some change in that, but to constantly every time I go out and worry about something happening to me, I understand now that if I continue to worry about that, I'm going to bring something upon myself that's going to happen.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I know that my thoughts become things. You know what I mean? So I got to start. That's why I say we got to start learning how to think different. You know what I mean? The reason people feel powerless right now, they feel they can't deal with nothing, is because they don't know they got the power. And I think the powers that be, quote unquote, kept it like that because when you don't know you powerful, you easy to be controlled. You know, everything around us is fear from this COVID and everything else. It's all about fear and people moving out of fear. You know what I'm saying? And that's what even from slavery and everything else, it was about fear and control. But once you know who you are, and once you know that the system, politics, nothing can't stop you from doing anything you want to do. I don't care if Trump get the next 85 years. He ain't stopping me from getting my money. He ain't stopping me from doing anything I desire to do. The police ain't going, you know what I mean? As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a citizen, even if you do stop me, bro, you know what I mean? So be I ain't got nothing in my car, nothing of that. So if you want to stop me on some racial stuff, that's fine. But what we got to start teaching even our kids and stuff is, okay, it's a possibility about 100% every black man gonna get stopped on some racial stuff, but don't have nothing in your car you ain't supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? Like last time I got stopped, you know, and I put it on Facebook, you know what I mean? And I say this and I be done with it, you know. I was all about everybody like, man, they stopped you for a racial reason. Yes, they did stop me for a racial reason, but I had drugs, a gun, and I was driving with a suspended license. So, you know what I mean? I couldn't get but so mad at them a lot of times. And I'm not saying it's every case, but most times we got to start teaching even teaching our kids and stuff like, look, you already know the suspicion of what the perception is. So like, don't go out here acting no kind of way to give them a reason.
So
you know what I mean?
to summarize, does that mean I'm about to die? That no matter what's going on or what you're dealing with, you're still able to take care of home when it comes to your woman.
Yeah, no doubt. And I got a woman now, and everything is good because I understand my place. I don't stress nothing. If anything can't happen, it just ain't meant to happen at that time. See, everything most time we stress because we want to make it happen right then. We feel like we got to be in control of everything. And my thing was, I learned how through spiritual meditation and stuff, I learned how to let go. You know, if it don't happen right now, it just ain't meant to happen. So I still take care of home. I'm supposed to take care of home. There's no problem there. Take care of my kids, whatever. And whatever doesn't get done or whatever can't get done, just because I may not have the time enough or nothing to do, I'm not gonna stress myself because I couldn't get it done.
Right.
Like I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. But handling everything, facts, yeah. I mean, it's easy.
So I think Van got the most years because he's 33 years married. Donnell, how many you got?
We got 13 years married.
Okay, so we're gonna let Van go because Van was trying to talk about he was boo loving in the green room after 33 years, and I had to ask him, how do you keep the flame going? But I know that you may have things, you know, so the same question goes to you too, like dealing with everything, you know, everybody has their own stresses that they deal with, plus outside influences. We heard Zach's perspective. What do you have to add to that, Uncle Van?
I got a couple of things, and I'll start with this. When you was talking about people paying child support and that sort of thing, which is something I've never experienced, but what I got to add to, when there was 33 years, ups and downs, ebbs and flows. We get at each other. My wife, she got an identity of her own. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she got her own mind. I got my own mind.
Sometimes.
And I mean, and sometimes we're at odds with each other. But I say this. I understand that I'm the most flawed person that I know. That's because I know my inner thoughts. I know what I really think. I know what my intentions are. Even though sometimes things come out right, I may have had bad intentions. Even though sometimes things come out bad, I might have had good intentions. I'm the most flawed person I know. So realizing that, I have room for somebody else's flaws. Because no matter what you do, you're not as bad as me. All the shit I done. So knowing that, I've learned to forgive and move on and just let people be human, wife included, kids included. So when things are not going exactly as I would like, who am I? I'm lucky she's still with me.
That's deep.
And just go on. But I told her this. If you want to break up with me, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to be a weekend dad. I don't want visitation. My kid's staying with me. So you got two choices. Give them up or let's work this out.
I hear that. Oh, you is father of the year, okay? Excuse us.
Right.
Okay. Well,
and we worked it out.
I guess so. 33 years. She about probably tired of you. If she in the background, we need to get her on for a cameo.
Right. You better hope she ain't hogtied. So.
Right. She about to sign on it and really bring the truth. Okay. So what you got to say, Dino?
Yeah, I mean, man off the chain, but yeah, I mean, like you say, through all that's going on and with the climate of the world right now, I can say within this whole COVID situation, honestly, it has been a blessing to us. As far as relationship wise, me and my wife, we've been on the level of, like you say, just intentionally, trying to be there for each other. Now, was I always that way? No, I was so caught up at work. I was so caught up in the barbershop. I was so caught up in the school. And my wife, she at some point was not feeling that at all. And so I had to figure out, because again, all I knew and my work ethic was go, and that's what it has always been. It's been on go. And so I had to step back and I started having to listen to her. And as I was listening to her, she was letting me know exactly where, I was going wrong. And I started, I was talking with an older person. They told me I need to make sure that I listen to the whispers before I hear the screams. And when I caught that, it was like, okay, I started identifying more with myself of, what I was doing wrong, where I was falling short of, and started really paying more and close attention to my wife. And again, trying to be proactive in doing what Van would say, some things was, I had good intentions and it may have came across bad, but, a lot of things I did have, like you say, good intentions and it came across, good at the same time. But keeping it high, we don't, like you say, get into, do we disagree? Yeah, we disagree. But at the same time, we do agree, agree to disagree on some things as well to move on. And we took values from older individuals, and we love taking advice from older individuals on how they kept it together so long. Again, we are a younger couple, but we don't know it all. And so they would tell us, the things that we, never go to bed, angry at each other. And that was
do people really do that though? For real, like, do you really practice that?
Yes, we do. And the thing is, being angry and being, upset and all that, it's totally different when, again, you just, like you say, that screaming and yelling and all that, that's nothing we never really did. And I thought I was tripping for the first, few years when I was, with my wife and we got together. I'm like, yo, this lady don't argue. She don't flip out. She don't, go there. I thought I was, tripping about something, but, as time went on, we learned each other more, but she still wasn't that person, that I had been experiencing for years and dealing with, you know, relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, as of today, you know, again, we do talk things out. We communicate a lot better. And that's the key. That communication, how you say things to each other, what you're saying to each other, and then following up with the actions behind what you're saying. That's
Mm-hmm.
been the key, I feel, through what we, you know, keep it tight and keep it right. And again, just to find balance, to be honest, am I perfect with it? No, I'm not. I'm still trying to work on balance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm dealing with, you know, a lot, but at the same time, she's at the top of my list. She's top priority. So
okay, now y'all heard that, Facebook.
Yeah, I had to make sure that was right because I didn't want her not to feel that way. And so
Mm-hmm.
again, each day I am still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep her understanding and feeling that she's top priority. So COVID has really pulled some of the best out of us. You know,
right.
Honestly, it has really pulled the, you know, some of the best out of. We had to be creative with how we still was going to enjoy each other and not get tired of each other with working, you know, in the house together. You know, so again, it's, you know, it's been real, but at the same time, we just every day keep practicing to do and be better for each other.
Right. So because you got 13, Van's got 33. And this is why I was saying in the green room, how do you keep the fire burning? Like 13 years, it's not going to be the same every day. Like, and I was telling Uncle Van, I was just like, you know, our culture, we progress. So the person that you met, if they don't progress with, you know, like the styles and, you know, the music and kind of grow within themselves, and you just have this like same person, how do you keep the flame going, like with all the stresses? Because even women, you know, we're moms, we got a whole bunch of stuff that we deal with, and you know, we still got to make sure that we project to our husbands that they are king, like you are the head of the household, even if, you know, I'm aggressive, and you know, so that's hard for me, like, you know, the justice, I'm up here with stuff because I'm like a tomboy, but I feel like I know a lot of women probably struggle with being able to keep things going. You know, like women like to be romanced. I know men like to be romanced. Don't be up here fronting. Like, how do you keep it going after you shaking your head no?
And how do you keep it going when stuff don't work the way it used to? The same stuff you was doing before don't work no more. I didn't mean physically, but that too. How do you progress with the relationship as things begin to change? Obviously, they're not the same individual that you first met. They don't even look the same. So how do you keep that fire going? And when things start shutting down, when stuff don't start working, like how do you progress with the relationship?
Again, I would say, you know, for myself, again, communication, that's the key to everything. Again, she tell me when, you know, it's certain things she don't like, and it has been things that she let me know at the beginning, you know, it was okay, it was all right, but as we grew, she kind of let me know, nah, I ain't feeling that. And again, I had to make that adjustment. And the same thing with her. It's things that she'll let me know, well, babe, I feel I wasn't this, or I need to do better on this end. And I will agree. I'm not the one who always just was so outspoken with, you know, these things. So she would, you know, ask things, and then I would actually communicate it. And again, and we make those adjustments, and just being on that same wavelength. I thank God for my wife, because again, we really connect on a whole nother level. We connect on a level, and we are, like you say, we stay on that wavelength. But one of the bigger things was, I think, with where we are as of today, was with the kids, because we do have a blended family. And so when the kids came, you know, we all came together, and we was, you know, going on it. You know, our pastor had told us, you know, years ago, and it was something that I didn't quite understand at first. You know, he was saying, you know, you can't let the kids, you know, be the ones that kind of run the relationship, because at some point they're going to get older, they're going to hit that 18 mark or whatever, and they're going to leave you. You are not obligated to your kids. You are obligated to one another as husband and wife. You are obligated to one another. And to understand that, it helped us understand that what we would allow to interfere in our relationship and what we wouldn't allow. And what we wouldn't allow was the kids to, you know, put us at odds with each other to the point where they leave us and now we're trying to patch up all the holes that they're going and doing their own thing. And we're, like you say, fixing the holes that they created amongst us. And now, like you say, we are empty nesters. I couldn't even imagine.
Must be nice.
And it is. I ain't even gonna front. It is. It is. We still trying to get used to this thing. And sometimes it get lonely where I go through my spells in here when it's just quiet. And I'm like, yo, I ain't got to tell nobody to close the refrigerator, cut the light off, shut the door. All that is different now. But again, we are really enjoying each other because again, all this came at the time, right at the beginning of the COVID situation. Our youngest, the last one moved out. What was it, March, May?
Look at God.
Yeah, the youngest one, she moved out in May. So this was right in the midst of all of this. So we still getting used to, you know, being the empty nesters and at the same time, trying to be creative with, you know, how we move, how we do. And can I give them one of the big keys, babe? The big secret.
Go ahead. Go bust it out for us.
She told me I can get, and again, men, don't think we know everything. Stop trying to grab everything out the air and just this and that. Google, YouTube has been a good friend of mine to help me figure some of these things out. And I'm not going to sit here and lie in front. Again, I told you, I came up in a household where I didn't see a lot of romantic things going on. I didn't see you know, my dad bringing my mom gifts and, you know, that type of, you know, the sweet, nothing. I didn't experience that. So again, we go out on the limb and we find different type of things, you know, with Google. If it's, like I say, relationships, how to make it better. It's one of those things where, you know, we take the meat and leave the bone. Some of the stuff we already know, some of the stuff we know, whatnot, but it'd be some good things that, again, and I look forward to all these years going forward because I see we got a lot of interesting things to get popping.
What you got to say to that, Uncle Ben?
Hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever find your lost remote. I've always been like, I mean, to be honest with you.
Go ahead, be honest.
I married my soulmate, and I'm fortunate in that regard. That's my nigga. Every time shit got thick for me, Nell was there. Every time I mean, there's been low points. Motherfucking Nell was there. Nell and my mom, I could count. Every time my knees wobbled, she was holding me up. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm telling you the truth. That's my nigga. I don't love her because of anything. I love her regardless of everything. No matter what.
Oh, damn, that's a gem.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Wow.
And again, this morning I'm looking at her like I pulled that, you know, I bagged that. That's mine. I did that. I pulled that. I know I ain't, you know, what's his name, Billy D. Williams and none of that Denzel, but I pulled that and I still got that.
There you go.
Hey, all right. So before we transition on to another topic, because I know Zach and D-Man, you have the blended family. So having, because Zach, you got a girl, so you can have those issues, and you're married. How did that work with being a blended family in regards to making sure that your wife was, you know, always up front?
The whole truth on it.
Go ahead.
First, this is how I feel as a man. If you're going to marry a woman with kids, or the woman is going to marry a man with kids, those two men need to talk. Y'all need to have it understand that, look, bro, these are your kids. I'm married to her. You ain't got to worry about your kid. You are the father. I'm not trying to come in there, take your place. None of that. Y'all, what y'all had, I understand that, but you know, I just want you to know that you are still the father of these kids. I'm not anything that go down, I'm hollering at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the problem with most men today, they don't live by that code and that principle no more. Like, and because niggas want the pussy and stuff so much now and trying to get it, they talking about men to these females and stuff like that. And it's like, you may get with them, but now you're not, like, a woman can't even respect you on a whole level. If you can't even, like, go to her, even if she don't want you to, and say, nah, you shouldn't do that. But deep down inside, she may not agree with you to the forefront, but in her mind, she like, yo, I appreciate that, because every man need to know that yo, my kids is straight. Because I'm going to holler at any man. Like, my wife got remarried. I'm going to be honest. Like, at first, I didn't want to talk to him. I was angry because I still had feelings and stuff for her like that. Then I hollered at him and was like, yo, I just need you to know, and because I expect you to do the same thing. Like, look, whatever y'all got going on, that's y'all. But if my kids tell me something, just know I'm coming. And I hope you don't take that man wrong, because I would expect you to say the same thing to me. So from man to man, if I was messing with your ex and she had kids, I couldn't even get mad with you on that, because from man to man, I understand where you coming from, because I would be the same way. So I think that if people can communicate, and sometimes when exes get with other people, they feel like you ain't got to talk to this person, that person don't got to talk. But honestly, yes, because you don't want feelings of anything can happen. We've seen people now with kids do things with other people's kids, from women killing another man's kids, from a man killing another woman's kids, because people get so ego tripped because they don't want to deal with that person anymore. Feel like you don't run nothing, so you don't need to holler at them. But yo, y'all got kids together. Like, put the ego aside and holler at kids. And another thing men need to do, and I'm gonna say this because I did it, and I know it can be done. I hollered at the man that my ex-wife is married to now. I tell him that I appreciate you, bro. And I appreciate that you are good to my kids. You know what I mean? And you good to their mom, because that's what they see in most of the time. You know what I mean? And for a long time, I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Because I was still caught up in the past and everything. But now I just want you to know, bro, I appreciate that, you know what I mean? That you ain't trying to overstep your bounds. And like, and I appreciate you being there. You know what I'm saying? Even when I went through when I went through certain things, dealing with my dad and stuff like that, and I kind of went out there because I was dealing with what I was dealing with. Like, bro, I appreciate that. And I'm not going to be too prideful about that. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? So I can do that now. And that's why I can tell another man, like, yo, put your pride aside, and you ain't got to go hard at somebody when you know, and I probably went too hard at dude, you know, but I wanted him to know I was serious, because I think women would do the same thing. Like, I would never, even if the lady I'm talking to now, we planning on getting married. Like, yo, you got to have that conversation, because my kid's going to be around you. You got to go talk to her mom. You got to go talk to their mom, and their mom shouldn't have to reach out to you, just like that dude shouldn't have to reach out to me about my kids. Because I'm going to be around, because you're going to be around, and yo, I'm going to go ahead and, matter of fact, he should have hollered at me first, but I can't get mad at it no more. But since you weren't man enough to do it, because you with her and you know the situation, I'm going to holler back at you and just be like, look, bro, it's cool. It ain't no ill will. Just know if something go down with these kids, that's your ass at the end of the day. But I appreciate and I love you for what you're doing, but just understand that part. And like I told the female I'm with now, yo, look, you need to holler at her. Don't let her come hollering at you. Like, you need to holler at her about that, because at the end of the day, I don't want her to think that you not, because if people don't meet each other, people gossip so much and talk. But when people know somebody and can sit down and be like, okay, cool, then it makes that blended relationship that much better, because the kids see that, okay, everybody gets along.
Right. Listen, that's true. That is true with the women. But women are messy though. Some women are messy. I'll say that. I think it's much easier for men to have that conversation, but I think women, we're a lot messy. Not me, because if my husband's baby mom is on, you know, she'll let you know that in the beginning it was rough. But that's boo right there. Hey, how you doing? We talk more than they talk. You know what I'm saying? So it's growth, like Zach said. But I do think women are a lot more messy when it comes to the blended. But go ahead. I know you got something to say, Mr. Donnell.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I said, it's definitely different. And again, my wife, you got to understand, she came in at a point, like you say, where I was a single father for years. And again, I was raising, 3 by myself at that time when she came in. And the youngest one was 9 months old when I gained custody of my kids. So again, she came at a time where she only had one. You know, she had one child and I got three, and she dove right in. You know, she dove in. She didn't come in with all these commands. Yeah, I'm gonna be y'all mama and I'm gonna this and that. She didn't come. She came in with nothing but love from day one. And as of today, she still has that love. Was it at a point where the kids was kind of being resistant towards her? Yes, because they had somebody else in their ear on the other side. But she was always the bigger woman. She was the one that was always trying to reach out, trying to make situation. And that's why I was bugging. I'm like, God, what have you done, you know, blessed me with? You blessed me with a woman with sense. I mean, she tried to, you know, talk, you know, to the other individuals, and by, you know, keeping the kids straight. I mean, it was just crazy how it all played out. And again, with the kids being kind of resentful for a while, that was, you know, bothersome, but she fought through it. She fought through it. She knew at the end of the day, it wasn't the kids. She wasn't never blaming the kids. She knew it wasn't the kids. She knew it was who was in their ear on the other side.
Right.
But as of today, fast forward, and we didn't see this years ago, because again, they had somebody in their ear and they were younger, and you know how the younger kids do when somebody else, you know, that they feel supposed to be in their ear and listening to is telling them things. That's how it go. But as they are as grown, that's their mother. They know who loved them. They know the one who was nurturing them and was providing and doing. They got a clear understanding now as of today.
Right.
Clear understanding. So again, with her, it was different with her reaching out and trying to, you know, talk, because it was always kickback. You know, it was always kickback. It was never just that genuine sit down conversation. Like Zach said, you know, us as gentlemen, you know, and my, you know, my daughter, her father, number one, we don't use the word steps in our house. The only steps we have is coming in and out of our house. So it never was a step.
I messed up with that.
It was never that. It was never that. So my daughter, when, you know, even with her father, it was on a level where, you know, me and him, we sat and talked, and him and, you know, her did not get along at all. But my thing was, like Zach said, being that man, I'm here, man. I'm gonna be in your child's life. I'm gonna be that father. I'm gonna be that dude. And I want to respect you, and I want you to respect me. So I went as far as, like you're saying, look, my wife, she wasn't feeling it. But I'm like, babe, nah, we got to put this to the side. Let me be the mediator, because I can talk to this dude, and let me be the one who try to, you know, like you say, take her around, or be, you know, so it wouldn't be a keeping away thing. Take her around and, you know, see him and this and that, because she didn't feel so comfortable with it. That wasn't our fault that this individual bailed out. I did my part. She did my part by allowing me to do that.
Right.
And at the same time, I had never had a problem with her reaching out to any of, you know, my kid mothers. So again, it's been, you know, like I say, it's been crazy on how you said that. From the women's side, it's a little different. But I can say on my wife, she was the bigger woman always, and still is to this day.
I was too. Okay, because you before I switch it to society's views on what men should be, being the fact that it is blended, right? And y'all are men and you have sons. What if, okay, the son is full-time with the mother and she remarries, and maybe you're busy and those first happens, like he needs to learn about sex, or he needs to learn how to drive, or those different things. Do you feel like it's messed up if that man steps in and takes that memory or possibility that memory away from you? Because I know me as a woman, if I didn't have my kids, which that would never happen, I would feel some type of way if, you know, there's things that my daughter experienced, you know what I'm saying, and another woman was the one that taught it to her, and it wasn't me, you know. And you're, you know, so that's how I feel, like, especially with men, because men are very strong and prideful about their sons, because one, your son is going to carry your legacy. You know what I'm saying? He has your name, and if it's blended and you're raising that child, and say the father from the other situation, you know, doesn't step up, you are putting who you are into this child. You know what I'm saying? And you know, things don't work out, and you got this other dude, you know, taking away memories that you could have had. Like, I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but like, do you understand where I'm coming from with the question?
Yeah, but like I said, I didn't have to, you know, I didn't experience that, so I can't really,
Okay.
you know, from
Zach,
that.
have you ever experienced that?
No, I haven't experienced, but I will say this much as how I feel about it. I feel like if you have first that go on as far as a man, and this is just how my daddy raised me, and I'm pretty sure, you know, like by the code, look, you want to learn how to drive, call his daddy first. Now, if he say no, or if he can't be present, that's something different. But always give that man the option. That way he can't never come back and say, you took this from me from my child, because even though it may have been totally opposite for what he's saying, but it can look like that in the eyes of other people. So you always keep yourself in the clear with everything. That way can't nobody say nothing. Right. So, you know, any first in another child's life, if it's in my life or whatever, then, you know, like I told even old buddy with my ex-wife, whatever, like them things that's mine, like, yo, we keep that and we respect. If it's something that I can't do or something like that, then by all means, bro, I will let you know that. But don't ever just assume something and not do it. Even if the mother tries to talk to you elsewhere, be man enough to not, because sometimes as men, and I believe sometimes women too, but as for men, sometimes we can, and I've used to be able to listen to a woman, because, you know, you listen to the woman and you want to have you want y'all to be cool. So she may be like, and I've had it happen with, you know, well, don't talk to such and such about it. You ain't got to talk to him. But I'm like, no, I got to talk to him because this man kids. You may not understand it. And I can't worry about you not understanding.
Right. That's respect. So we're going to switch gears real quick because we got 2 more topics. Talina, you want to jump on that topic, the next one?
Yeah, I had a very interesting conversation with some Black men recently, and kind of wanted to ask you guys, what do you feel are the pressures that society has placed on you as Black men, and how you've either lived up to those or failed? And I give you just a quick example. You know, a lot of Black men we know don't do therapy. They feel as though society tells them, like Zach said, don't ask for help, be strong, don't cry. All of these things that typically we understand Black men learn when they're growing up. They have to be so tough for certain things that society or their familial ties place on them. How do you deal with that? How have you lived up to that and either formed your own definition of who you should be, or, you know, just the man that you became? How have you learned to deal with all of it as a father, as a man, as a Black man? Yeah, just tell me. I'm kind of interested in wanting to know, because the Black man that I initially spoke to, he broke down because he said that, you know, he was always told to be hard and be tough, and, you know, he was never able to talk about his parents' drug addiction. He was never able to succumb to the things that he was dealing with. I'm on a podcast. So he was, you know, he was just like, as a Black man, I was told I can't fail. I have kids. I got to do this. I got to make sure I'm tough. But at the end of the day, when I go home, I'm tired. I'm hurting. I'm sad. I don't know how to express that, though, because society never gave me the tools to be able to express that. So again, what do you tell that man, or what have you done for yourself and your sons that helps you deal with societal pressures of what a man is supposed to be?
Go ahead. I need answers from all 3. Whoever wants to go first. Van, that's you. You getting close to the mic, Boomer.
It is what it is. You know, this is what it is. Life, you know what? people got this misconception that it's hard, but it's fair. Let me tell you, it's not fair. It was never meant to be fair. This shit ain't fair. I coach kids playing basketball and they want the refs to be fair. Guess what? Nobody's fair. Everybody got a bias. But you know what? You still gotta win. Fuck that. You ain't fair, and I'm still gonna win. Now, I'm a black man. So you got a problem with that? Let me tell you why you shouldn't have a problem with that. If you like me just because I'm a black man, you're missing out on 10 good reasons to like me. But if you don't like me because I'm a black man, you're missing out on 100 good reasons to not like me. Yeah, I got 99 problems, but being black ain't one of them.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, but fuck you. I'm black.
Oh
so
my God. They ain't gonna let me get syndicated with you cussing up here like that. But you keeping it real.
Me being black is not my problem. It's your problem.
That's true. That's true.
And it's tough. Life is tough. It ain't fair. And I'm still gonna win.
All right now. Zach, what you got to say to that?
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. For me, and I've been going through this transition here now. And the thing that I think we all need to do, especially as men, sometimes we don't give ourselves time to get to ourselves and think. You know what I mean? You don't give, we see there's so much being put on, there's so much we're allowing to be put on us from society, how we should be, how this should be, how this should be, how that should be, because we black. First off, I had to get out of thinking from, yes, I'm black, but I ain't black in the sense of I'm a man first. If you always going by color, you always gonna limit yourself. You always gonna stigmatize yourself every time. That's why I tell people when they say black owned business, I get it, but no, I'm a business. Don't just category. I get the black owned business part. I get it from a certain point, but then at a certain point, I'm a business, because once you can establish me as a man, and I'm gonna keep coming to you as a man, you're gonna start looking, either whether you want to or not, you're gonna start looking past that color. Now, if you don't, like my man said, that's you. But I'm not gonna allow you to have me just always thinking from a black and white perspective. I'm gonna think from a man perspective. So what I do now, and what I've had to do, this is what I encourage every black man and every man, period. Meditation and letting go of the past, because there's been so much trauma in our lives, and we have been taught to be so tough, to be, you can't cry, you can't do none of this, and it causes a lot of sickness. That's why a lot of black men right now are dying from prostate cancer, because when you don't let those emotions out, that's energy. That energy gets trapped in those first three chakras. That's where your emotions and all of that is from. So if you got years and years and years and years and years and years and years of not letting go, of keeping stuff built up, that energy, and you haven't released that energy, whether it be through, because we've been taught not to cry and all that, that energy's got to go somewhere. And since it's not coming out of you, it's gonna stay in you. So that's where that process, and if you look at anybody, from people who heal holistically, they first tell people, you gotta learn how to forgive, let go, and forget. That's why I do not keep talking about the past. I get it. People keep wanting to talk about slavery and all that. I get it. I get knowing the past, but at the end of the day, all it's doing is keep bringing back old emotions. Like we gotta start moving forward. Like at some point, we can't forget it. But at some point, we gotta say, all right, that happened. We gotta let that shit go at this point. You gotta let trying to get reparations go at this point. We keep holding on to a system that really showing you that they don't care about you, but we still holding on to them for help. And that's why I tell people, once as black men or whatever, once we start holding a standard for ourselves, what we will accept from, whether it be from the politicians to the celebrities and all that, we hold the standard for all that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you don't know what to accept and you're just accepting what's been put on you, then you're always going to be you're always going to be underneath. Because if I come out and my kids, and if I first come out and I start telling my kids about slavery and shit like that, the first thing, even though we're teaching them as history, but the first thing you teaching your child is to be subjection. That's the first thing you teaching them, is a slave mentality, because you teaching them from the point of, man, we used to be slaves, bro. So now, whether you thinking you even though you're educating them, subconsciously, they're starting to think that, damn, I was at the bottom. And I'm not letting my kids, like, and this is just me. Like, when my kids ask me about it, I will let them know what happened, but I will let them know further back that we were kings and stuff even before that. But my kid, don't worry about it. Right now, you can't worry about the past. We are so focused on the past that we can't go to the future. Every man, that's why I do not, and I no disrespect to nobody. I don't do these black men conferences and stuff no more. We know the problem. We've been knowing the problem. We've been talking about the problem for 50 years. So when are we gonna stop talking and we come together and finally do something?
Yeah.
Like, and stop playing the victim role because this happened back in 1998 and shit. Okay, it happened. It's 2020 now. Fuck, we still thinking about it for. Like, let it go. Use it as a memory that you don't let it happen to you again, but you strategize and you move forward, because to continually thinking the past is to continually live in the past. So in order for me to start, in order for me and even any man to start that growth process, you got to get rid of all that old energy and that old man and really think about the man you want to be. And I tell any black man, stop, don't limit yourself to what life says you are supposed to be, because you can be anything you want to be if you decide to be. And there has been so many examples of black men doing great things that they were not supposed to do, that society said they weren't supposed to do, but because they didn't accept that,
right,
they did something else.
Dang,
and I look at people like, and I know like my brother Dino and stuff like that. Like, yo, Dino encourages me, because when you know somebody and where they were from, and you see how they are, and you see that the transformation stuff, ain't nothing impossible. For a long time they used to say, if you was a felon and had a record, and this for people I know, and I'm going through it now, that you can't do this and do that. But I've seen so many men go back to school, start their own jobs, start their own business, and be millionaires. But but if you accept that, man, because I got this on my record, I can't get no job and I can't be successful, because society's gonna tell you that. But if you accept that, then you're gonna fall right in. But if you say no, I don't care how many obstacles you throw at me, I'm not accepting it. Eventually, like James Brown said, just let me get my pinky toe in the door, dog, and I'm knocking the rest of the door.
You muted yourself.
So take on that.
So, okay, go ahead, Dino. What you got to add to that?
Man, a lot of what Zach was saying, and that, man, like you say, with society and how individuals, like you say, some individuals allow society to dictate their future. Again, I know what I've been through. I know what my ancestors been through. I know what, I came up in. I know what I came from. I know who I am. And first off, with all of that, identifying who I am and what I'm capable of is number one. Despite what anybody try to say, anybody try to, come up against me, anybody try to, down me or whatever it may be, I understood at some point, after being in the prison system, after being out there in them streets, after doing all the wrong, that I was seeing all the, the results that I was getting behind doing all the wrong things. And I started transitioning to understanding I have control of my decisions. I have control of my choices, and not to start, or my thing was I would always react to situations, and it would always put me in an underdog spot. It would always put me in a bad spot. When I started understanding not to react, but respond to situations, that's when the mindset started changing. But I had to change a few things in order to change myself. I had to change my environments. I love my place. I love the hood. I love Duffield, Craven Terrace Shrink. That's where I came from. And I always go back. I go through all the time. But at the same time, I knew in order to get to the other side, or to start seeing different things, I had to be in different neighborhoods. I had to be in different environments. And that's where it started. When I was staying, like I say, I was staying in Craven Terrace, and when I seen, when I came out the house in the morning, what I saw was, the individuals on the corner, that might have been drinking all day or just hanging out on the block, seeing the norm. If I wanted to stay in that mindset, I would have stayed there. But what I wanted to see was something different. So I said, let me go try it, because all of my family had pretty much stayed in that area and they were comfortable there. I said, I'm gonna go out on the limb and I'm gonna move somewhere where nobody just can't walk to my house. You got to call before you come. So I put myself in a place of discomfort. And again, I understand being uncomfortable is where I love to be. That's the best place for me. I love being uncomfortable. I put myself in the back of James City where really nobody knew where I was, but the environment was different. Because when I got up in the morning and walked out on the porch, I would see Mr. Johnny out here cutting his grass. I would see this gentleman over here getting up, going to work. I would see, the other gentleman out there throwing the football with their kids or washing their cars, And I'm like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what I want to do. These are the things I want to do. And at that time is when my mind shifted to say, you know what? You're going to sit there and stay down only if you want to stay down. And that's why as of today, I have a very hard time, especially with my students. I have a very hard time accepting excuses. I have a very hard time accepting excuses. From what I've been through and where I came from, to be able to make it out of there and still have the mental that I have, which was challenged, which was, again, tested many ways and many times. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I know I'm a Black man. I know what I'm capable of. And that's where the motto, can't stop, won't stop, before Diddy and all that, whatnot, that's where that came from. Because I said, whatever gets in front of me is going to get ran over. And I had a total understanding of life, whereas if you don't evolve, you're going to evaporate. My mindset started changing to doing all these things that I want to do, which was, again, me cutting hair at the age of 10 years old. I've been in it 34 years now, November 34 years. I've been cutting hair. But that's like a childhood dream, but someone to play in the NFL, someone to, go do basketball or whatever. That's what I always want to do. And now that I'm living that, but I had to do all the right things to put myself on track to be in the position I'm in today. And that was, again, starting with the choices and decisions that I was making. And it started when I changed my environment, when I started seeing different. And when I started seeing different, I started wanting different things for myself. And at that point is when I started really changing myself and making sure that I kept my mental right. When my kids had to go to therapy because of the situations of, the divorce and all they was going through, I understand now. I used to be like, man, I got to go in these therapy sessions and this and that. But God was putting me in those sessions for a reason. I was there for a reason. And that reason came to play out to be what I'm doing today. I'm teaching a very diverse group of individuals. Very diverse. African-American, Caucasian, Latin, Latino. I mean, from the age of 17 up to the age of 77 years old. Older men, younger women. I'm dealing with a diverse group of individuals. So my thing was, I can't stay in this mindset of what Zach was saying, the Black business. All right. My barbershop, I wanted to be, again, a universal. And I started it years ago where, as I say, all nationalities are welcome. I never wanted to exclude nobody because, again, you put limitations on yourself. And I never want my kids to feel like they have to put limitations on themselves from being able to get into right places and doing the right things. Now, although I'm not going to let nobody talk down or play me, I'm not going to be Uncle Tom or doing nothing crazy, to get to a position. No, I've gotten where I am today just from being who I am.
Right.
And being able to understand about, like you said, with therapy. A lot of African, that's how it came up. No, that's not what we do. You don't go tell nobody your business. What goes on in this house stays in this house. That's what was always told to us. But again, my thing was, who motivates the motivator? And at some point, we got to get understanding, not feeling like we can all just do it on our own. And when I felt like I was about to break, when I felt like I was getting ready to go to that graveyard to take my life, again, who motivates the motivator? I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, but who helps pick it apart? I had to bow down to that therapy that I realized what was helping with my kids and say, you know what, I need that for myself. It ain't just for the kids. And my man, Life, he the one that explained to me. Life, he the one that broke it down to me and helped me understand about PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, where we come from, I've seen the shootouts. I've been shot at. I've seen cats get killed right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm running to him because one of my students was diagnosed and he was going off the edge. And when I called Life out on the emergency, Life say, yo, Dino, why you call me out here like that? I said, bro, because I know you was in the military. I know you can identify with this. And this is what this is what you do.
Right.
Said, but bro, where you come from? I said, what you mean? He said, where you come from? I said, Dufferfield, Craven Terrace, Trent Court. He said, how many people you done seen get killed? He said, how many people you seen get shot? How many gunshots you heard right in your ear when every time you hear something pop, you drop it to the floor? He said, so understand that PTSD, you could have it as well. Don't identify just with the military. He said with the African-American households, it's a lot of that going on, and not just African-American. That's what a lot of our kids are growing up with and not even identifying that. So he said, you ain't had no need to call me because you got every answer to help this gentleman just like I do.
Yo, I love Life. I swear to God, like he would be a good addition to this. Like, you spoke just like he would. Like yes.
And it was really, but again, it brought things to the forefront where I'm understanding, you know what? It's not about me just helping every Black man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to help any man that wants to receive the help that I'm in position to be able to help them with. Because what I do understand, if I sit there and just say I'm just gonna help Black men, I already done struck my blessings.
Right.
And I'm not trying to put that right there on my kids, my grandkids, nor myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I'm with. So again, I don't get caught up in a lot of the politics. I know what's going on. I see it every day. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get caught up in all of that, you know? And number one, why in the barbershop, you know, the biggest things that we're not supposed to talk about, politics, religion, you know, the sexuals, all that, that's things that you don't talk about. So again, I've always been in a way to kind of evade those type of situations and whatnot. Now, when it needs to be confronted and educating my kids on things, yes, I do educate and have educated them. But at the same time, I let them know, look, you got to get it how you live.
Right.
You got to get it how you live. And if you just want to sit there and just stand on this pro-Black thing, it's going to hinder your life.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that for a fact. But at the same time, I'm not telling you to be Uncle Tom. I'm not telling you to be, you know, fake. Be real, because that's all I've been. And to be in this position where I am today at that college, in an institution, if it was up to man, I wouldn't be there.
Mm.
If it was up to man, I would not be there. Why? Because I came from Dufferfield. I don't have a college degree. I was a single father. You know, I was on food stamps. I had to get Medicaid. I was in the prison system. So I'm not supposed to be there. But if I would have stopped, I wouldn't be here. So that can't stop, won't stop attitude is real with me. That's what I live. That's my life. It's nothing that's going to get in my way that's going to stop me from being able to reach my goals that I have set forth for myself or for my wife. My kids, that's another story. They're doing their own thing now. But at the end of the day, they got a clear understanding of who their dad is. Right. They know he ain't no suck up. He ain't no, he try to act this way around this person. No, I don't try to get all political correct. If I'm sitting at a round table with all the college members and the president or what, you can get the same conversation here. I'm not changing up my work. I understand intellectual verbiage very well.
Right.
I understand it very well. And the only place I use it really is in the barbering profession.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's not about changing up. It's just, like Zach said, identifying with who you are, knowing who you are. I don't care what nobody else thinks or how they feel. Because at the end of the day, they're not paying no bills around here. And like I told my daughter today, baby girl, I don't care who it is. It could be your family. It could be friends, whoever. If they're not making deposits in your life, don't allow them to get no withdrawals.
Amen.
That's how I roll. That's how I roll.
So the caveat off that and head to the last topic, because I know y'all got to go. We talk about this mental health with men, especially I'm gonna say in the Black culture. Do you feel obligated through your struggles that you've had and overcome that you need to mentor or sew in to younger people? And then also, you were talking about, Dino, with therapy. Do you believe in the the corporate standard of, you know, seeking out a therapy, or can you have therapeutic conversations with your boys?
I can now,
Mm-hmm.
and I could then. And the biggest thing was always feeling like, you know, you have some, you know, the individual be kind of biased. So it always had to be to a point where I got to talk to somebody that don't know me in order to get that help. And that's the crazy part. You got to talk to somebody and you always feel like, nah, they know me, so I'm gonna go and talk to them. No, because sometimes you got a lot of yes men and a lot of yes women. So everything that you're saying, they're kind of agreeing with. And so my thing was, I need to talk to somebody who don't know me from Adam, but they are licensed to be able to help direct and guide me with making better decisions or being able to deal with my inner self and actually show me some resources that I know the other individuals that I feel like my homie or whatever can't show me. And so as of today, again, thinking back when going with the kids, all those things, it was all lessons to that point where I got the help that I needed through therapy. Because again, I couldn't even go to my wife and talk about it. You know what I mean? It was just some things I just couldn't, you know, really get the answer or response that I would expect to get. But
or
again,
you didn't want to put that pressure of stress on her.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's definitely, you know, not what I wanted to do, but I did want her to know that I'm trying to do what I can do to be the best me that I can be. And if it's going to therapy, that's what it's going to be. It wasn't that I had to be forced with a gun at my head to go to therapy. No, it was a conscious decision to understand, you know, it's nobody out here that I can really talk to get things off my chest or get my true feelings out that I don't feel judged against, you know? So again, with that, it was like, you know, those chains was broken. And it's like I was free. And as I am today. And so my thing is, like you say, anytime it's a conversation that I have with, you know, any of my students or my kids or whomever, it's so many areas of life that I've done covered and had experiences in. And again, I say, the best teacher in the world is experience.
Right.
Despite what's in whatever book. If you ain't, it's hard to, you know, to identify and talk about it. But just being able to have that experience from all the different levels and help talk them off cliffs sometime, I do feel, like you say, as that barber, which they always say, we are therapists.
That's true.
We are our own therapists in our own way. So again, I know Zach, I know, you know, my brother Van, all have went through some things. I do know. And I know Van from way back. We go back like 4 flats on a Cadillac. So I know as him being here today and me seeing him right here and speaking, and Zach as well, we got it. We understand. It's just, are others going to understand and listen to what we're talking about to be able to understand? Are they going to take the advice of the things that we are saying to make themselves better? And if it's therapy that's going to make yourself better, go get that therapy and stop worrying about what your homeboy's talking about. Man, you telling people your business or this and that. Come on, okay. Where you can keep yourself in bondage. Keep yourself in bondage. Because I mean, I'm free.
Do either one of you have anything to add before I ask you the last question? Zach or Uncle Van?
As far as the therapy thing, I'm probably a relic. You know what I mean? I kind of self-diagnose, self-analyze, and go through a whole lot of unnecessary pain and burden because I won't talk to nobody. You know, again, keep my circle real tight because don't really, you know, like you say, you know, I know Dino because I know what he went through, so he can definitely be in that circle. You know what I mean? I can talk to him because I know he can relate. But just like I know I'm the most flawed person I know, because I know what's in me, I don't know what's in nobody else. I don't know what nobody else really think or how they really feel or what their motivations are or what their ulterior motives are or what their ambitions are. So I don't trust them with mine. I keep that shit close. I do talk to my wife, but the weight, I keep that to myself. And maybe that's that black man society thing don't cry, don't all that shit. That's me, But I know I'm old school or a dinosaur or a relic, whatever you want to call me. But I'm trapped in this. This is who I am.
I felt that. Zach, what you got to say to that before I get the last question in?
I would just, even with my man right there, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a conversation with somebody else, and I challenge anybody, and this is on a positive tip as far as we don't have like they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but if a dog willing to learn something, you can teach a dog anything. You know what I mean? So sometimes we gotta just because we've been, if we want to get the help and we want to change, like I had to want it, and I grew up from an old school pop, but it was just like I knew certain things he taught me. Shit won't know, and I mean it with all respect. He only taught me what he knew, but now that I know a little better, I gotta get the help. I ain't gonna let if I know I can get help to get the stress off of me, why, then it's my fault to keep the stress on me. If I know I can get help and don't get help, that's what I had to realize. If I can get it but don't get it, then I'm damning myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like Dino said, and like my man said, sometimes that pride, man, we just got to be able to break down. And one thing that I'm done, I read a lot of those books like 48 Laws of Power and shit like that. And things about those books, when they teach you so much about people having ulterior motives and shit, to where when you start dealing with people in real life and somebody really wants to help you and they're there to help you because of like how you were raised and people teach you different things. Like I had gotten to the dope game maybe like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So I'm not that old school, maybe like some other cat, but I start learning how to watch this person, that person, what this person got going on, that. So now it's like you do that with everybody, but sometimes people got pure intentions of just helping, but because we've been taught that so much, how to look at this person and look at that person and stuff, now it's everybody. I don't know your ulterior motive, so I'm not gonna say nothing, but it's just, when do we get to the point of just saying, I'm just gonna trust the goodness of this person's heart, because everybody that has a good heart don't want nothing back in return and don't want to slice me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the biggest things I see. And then Dino said at the shop, because I used to go to the barbershop with Dino and I would talk to Dino about a lot of stuff I went through. But like me and my brother and us would do something dope in Virginia. Like all the fellas would come after work, we share some beers, and like we were all close enough to when everybody bought whatever they were going through. If you were wrong, we were all close enough to be like, whether you're going through with your woman or not, like, dog, you were wrong on that. And we were all able to talk to each other out of respect, to be like, so it was like nobody, because we were the outside person looking in, but I love you that much to tell you, bro, you was wrong. And if I'm wrong, bro, tell me. So when I bring this up, if I'm wrong, bro, they be like, yeah, Zach, you were foul for that. Yeah. And I'm able to accept it from them, because even if I can't accept it from somebody outside, I can accept it better if I know somebody in a yes man that love me.
Okay. I mean, and on the women's side, we go through the same things. We got to have our circles where we got to get checked, because I know I call Talina for everything in regards to things that I'm dealing with. I mean, because she was married longer than I was, and I don't know everything, and she may have went through the same situation with her husband, and maybe I can get her point of view. So I understand it from both sides. But with society's views on how men should be, the last question I have is the roles that are in the household for a man. Do you still feel, in the age that we're in now, that the man has to bring home the bacon to feel like he's the king of the castle? Or can wifey make more money and you still feel like you are the king of the castle? Because I know for a long time in society, it was like, a woman making more than a man, whether you're in a relationship, married, girlfriend, fiance, entanglement, you dealing with a female and she's not doing better than you, but she's making more money than you in this certain time. Do you feel like that makes you less of a man, that you don't have a voice in the household? Like, answer that for me.
I don't. I mean, I'm praying to God my wife make more money than me. But my masculinity is not tied to money.
Right.
I'm a man because I'm a man. It ain't got nothing to do with how much money I make or anything like that. I'm still me, you know. That's I don't know. I'm just not tied to money like that. I'm not tied to my car. I'm not
It's
tied
not
to.
necessarily, it is money, but it's more of like, you know, she might be that type of person where she, you know, she lets you know all the time that, you know, she bringing home the bacon. This is.
I married a bull, but I'm a bull rider.
And I'm done.
I'm done too. I'm done too. You was a mess, man.
That's what it is.
I totally feel what he's saying though. I mean, again, I pray wife make more. And again, the thing is, I understand who she is. She understands who I am. So it wouldn't be this inferior thing. It's not a 50-50 thing in my household. It's 100-100. You know, we both give it all, you know. So it's that thing, like you say, that's a thing of the past. Like Zach was saying before, we can't hold on to those things of the past because again, you sit there and you still have some men that try to treat women that way. And again, he's messing with his own mental when she get that raise and she's making more than him, and now he start feeling some type of way.
Right.
They may not be so comfortable with each other where he can trust that. That's not me. That's not me. I trust I trust this lady 100%. I trust her 100%. So again, she always would throw this thing at me, whereas, you know, like I say, we don't do the lottery and scratch offs and all that. I did a couple of them, but it's not where my money go at. You know, that's not something we do. But she'll feel lucky sometimes, and she'll be like, "Babe, I gotta go play this number. I just feel like I want to."
Okay, sis, I'm the same way.
I'm like, all right, don't do it. She was like, all right, so if I go ahead and get that $1 million, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna still be who I am. I'm gonna still do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just up and just quit work and just I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. So at the end of the day, like you say, with that stigma that was stuck on, you know, from years ago, I think those things have been broken. And again, I feel so much better with knowing I'm still gonna be that one in the household to hold down the household values. Is that yard? No, my wife can't get out there in that yard and do no work. Even though she try to get out there and try to pick up some land. Nah, that ain't what you do. That trash in the house, no, she don't touch no trash. You don't touch that trash. You don't pull that trash can out to the yard. I'm the one who do that. That's what I show my daughters, my wife and them. They don't do that. It's certain things that they just don't do. And again, those are the values that I hold. But when it comes to, like you say, the finances, of course, I want you to make more. She's gonna make more, you know. So again, I don't hold.
What about the dishes and the laundry though? Who got to do those?
She takes part in that. She don't like me. She don't like me doing the laundry so much because she say I put too many clothes in the washer. I like to get stuff done. I don't got the patience to sit there and make 10 loads of white clothes and do them. Nah, I want to go ahead and throw everything in. Let's go ahead.
Dino, I tell you, my whole life I separated clothes, and when I got with my husband, he was like, hell to the no. And he does the laundry because I will have piles and whoop, whoop. And when I do it, that's how it is. Like you said, listen, how much is this? 2 in here, half. And if they blend together, that's what it's looking like. You feel me? I swear to God. I swear to God.
Other than that, we, like you say, we share duty. We see now, like you say, especially with now being the empty nesters, it's just us here. The kids don't have them. All them chores that we were having before that was being, that's gone. So it's up to us to do it. So again, but I do see she find herself more, you know, like I say, with the dishes, she don't like going to bed with nothing in the sink. So she'll go ahead and knock it on out. And like you say, it's certain times that I may see stuff in that I know that I'm the one up later to go ahead and get it out of the way so she don't have to worry about it. But as far as, you know, like I say, those other certain things, it's just certain things she know that's for me to do. And like I say, and when it comes to, you know, like I say, the making the money part, again, it goes right to the pot anyway. So that's not something where we got to try to, you know, we're gonna come at odds against. That's not nothing.
Zach, you
Quick
got anything to add? Okay, go ahead, Talina.
I wonder, and I'm sitting here listening to you guys, and this is an amazing, enlightening conversation. I appreciate all of the information that you guys have given us, especially, like I said, giving us a peek behind the curtain on the inner workings of a man. I was wondering how this was going to play out because of the generational gap. And I know that you three are, Van, you're in your 50s, I believe. Dino, you're in your 40s, and Zach, you're in your 30s. So I just kind of wanted to see how that was, and especially from a woman's point of view, because our generation sees a lot of hardworking women going to work, double shift, and a lot of the younger men seem like it's some of them. I'm not saying all of them or anything like that, but they cool with sitting home, kicking back, letting her go to work. They might watch the kids and whatever the case may be, play video games. Is she working a double, killing herself every day? Trying to handle it, or going to school and going to work and trying to get their family trained on the right track. And it's very difficult, it's very hard to advise sometimes other women on how to deal with that situation. And me personally, I always say that communication is key. If you come in a relationship or your situationship and you put your cards face up on the table and you let people know, hey, I know I make this much money and you only make this much money, but as we go through this, it's going to be 100. Like, I'm not going to treat you no different because I make more money than you, or vice versa, but it just has to be an understanding, because you're going to go through the ebbs and flows of life. And you may not always have that good paying job. God forbid you lose it, but you got to understand that you're with somebody that's going to be with you regardless, that likes you and loves you and is going to be there, whether you make 6 figures or no figures, or whether your figure change, like things like that. I think it's so important to talk about in the beginning. And especially, like I told y'all in the beginning, I come with a different vantage point because I was in the military. I had the dad that hustled from his hospital bed. So I've seen the equality in relationships that I've had. I've always made the same or more than the person that I've been with. And I never chose them for their money, but it was always, it played a part in some of the relationships sometimes, because sometimes men feel emasculated when a woman makes more than them. Sometimes they feel a certain type of way if maybe y'all started out where she didn't have so much, or she was just watching the kids and going to school, and then years down the line, she got a good paying job, and now you feel a certain type of way because, she makes more money. So I think that communication is important in the beginning. It's not a generational thing, which I see just based off of y'all responses. That was very interesting to hear that y'all didn't care how much you made. I've heard older men tell me that it's my job to bring the money home. It's my job to take care of my woman. Regardless of whatever she bring in, I'm the one that got to make sure everything is okay. That's my job. I'm the hunter and the gatherer, and she is, the person that nurtures the relationship to build what I bring home. So those are things that I heard growing up, but in practice, what I saw and what I experienced was a little different. And again, it has shaped my opinion of what men should be doing in a relationship. And I personally don't want a man that's lazy. I personally don't want a man that's cool with staying home. And I personally want a man that compete a little bit with me, like, oh, you brought that home? Oh, watch me work. Something like that. Like, right. It could be a New York thing too. I like to hustle. You know what I'm saying? I like to see, oh, you lost that side job or that business didn't work out. Well, let me show you how I'm gonna make this back. Something like that. Like just little competitive things like that. But it's very refreshing to hear what y'all have to say. And with that, I'm gonna lead into Zach and his final conversation.
I think Van, Zach, you say what you had to say, then we're gonna let Van say, and then we're gonna do our closing remarks.
Oh no, I ain't got too much to say. I was just gonna say I agree with both of them. Like, it's cool to see women like evolving. Like everybody's got to evolve, and at some point you gotta let when your woman evolves, you evolve. You know what I'm saying? Anything outside of that, because like Dino said, man, we've been taught a lot of stuff that make us insecure. And if a man or a woman, like if there's something insecure in you, if that makes you insecure with your woman making more money and so on, so then that's when, as Dino and everybody said, you need to figure out that deep-seated root of why you feel insecure for that. Because if y'all love each other, that money shouldn't even play a part, especially if you know you out there working doing your thing and she just bring home more bread. Like, that shouldn't matter. But it comes from a deep-seated belief that we were taught that if a man don't make more money, then he don't run the house. And it's not, and then it's like you start thinking it's not about running the house. It's not about who make more money. It's about both of us empowering each other to have a great relationship.
There you go. There you
For
go.
real.
Like I said, I get excited when I hear my wife. Look, she talking about she getting a raise. When I get souped up, I get excited. You know what I'm saying? And that's vice versa. That's reciprocal. So again, that's how it's supposed to be. You don't supposed to be, you know, like you say, when she tell me she about to get this raise, you don't supposed to be hating on that or in that subconscious thought of, damn, she about to come up on me. Nah, I'm getting souped up because I know at some point I'm gonna be getting a raise and we're gonna keep getting them raises back and forth. And at that point, we're gonna get to that mark that we got set for our, you know, our goal in the next 5 years. We're gonna get there together, and it won't be her or me, it's gonna be us getting there together. So
go ahead, Uncle Ben.
You're right. Before I started my own business, you know, a couple of years ago, my certification expired. And I didn't realize that it would take me 4 months to renew my certification. So we came out to California, and this unforgiving economy, I'm scared to death. We about to be homeless because there's plenty of motherfuckers out here homeless. So I know they throw my ass out. But when my certification expired, I couldn't gather myself in what to do because I was so dead set on doing weld inspection and stuff like that. So anyway, make a long story short, my wife, who hadn't been working for a couple of years, went back to work and started, you know, keeping us above the waterline. And I'm like, that's my nigga. You know what I mean? And so and at that point, that's when I started my own business and I started working for myself because I couldn't find nothing else to help me make the kind of money I was making. So she, again, that's what I say, she carries me when I fall. I don't know what else to say. And I don't know how else to show her that I love her other than my, you know, that's my dude, you know, and we get down like that. So when I fell, she stepped in and basically carried us for 4 months until I got back on my feet. Now I tell her, you can't afford me, you know. You couldn't take care of me no way. I'm a name brand nigga, you know.
Hey!
But in reality, he catches me when I fall. So that's just how we do each other.
that's us.
Listen, y'all are dope. Let me tell you, it's really hard to get men to open up. That's how I feel to have. And you were on Facebook Live, and like I said, our podcast get numbers, so you are going to probably impact a lot of lives. So knowing that, in 30 seconds to a minute, give what just overall some number one advice that you could give men in general, just about fatherhood, relationships, everything all together, just something good. Give them something positive to leave with, each of you.
I'll say this. Go ahead.
Learn from your mistakes. Just try not to repeat them. You're going to make them. Accept that. But learn from them. Admit them. That way you can deal with it and grow.
Awesome. Go ahead, Dino.
I would say, honestly, I mean, for all of that you just said in the bubble, the thing that comes to the forefront all the time is you're never closer to the will of God than when you're impacting somebody else's life.
Right.
So continue to be that giver, continue to be that influencer, continue to be that individual that, you know, is impacting lives instead of breaking lives down. You know, build up individuals and be sure that the individuals that you're building up is going to be able to build up somebody. Because if not, you can get to a point where you're going to evolve or you're going to evaporate.
Go ahead, Zach. What you got to say?
I would just say, man, tell any man, learn who you are and learn to just let go of any past conceptions of what people tell you should be and define what you want to be, then go do that. That's all I would say. Like, strip everything. If you don't hold nothing to you that you don't want and what you want to be, write it down. Like the Bible said, write the vision down, make it plain. And as Dino and my man was talking, change your mind. Just start changing your mind what you want to be. Take out the old and in with the new, and just go get what you want.
Listen, Talina, do you have any lasting words before I do the rolling credits?
First, I just want to thank y'all for all y'all time. Like Daisy said, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you was here with the Splash Twins, and I appreciate y'all for being. I appreciate y'all for being jewels in our crown. Definitely enlightening us on some of this conversation, and for having an exemplary conversation that I would want my 16-year-old to hear, minus a couple sound bites from Uncle Van, but it's cool. We'll take it, you know what I'm saying? Not sugar-coated. We ain't no bakery. I get it. So I appreciate y'all. And if there's anybody listening, if there's anything that I can impart on y'all, I know I'm not part of the men's chat, but I was always told by a power man in my life, speak what you seek till you see what you see what you said. So really be careful about what you're saying out here, and make sure you're speaking positive affirmations and positively impacting people's lives in an amazing way. Dina, you know, we go to the same church, so I always keep that in my toolbox.
Keep on swinging until you hit something. Listen. I love this conversation. This conversation was amazing. Again, real conversations with real people. You already know what it is. It's Politicking as usual. We're going to be back next Thursday for our last push in the politics realm to tell y'all to go vote. You understand? It's important. I love y'all. Stay awesome. Bye.
Deuces.
Be good, y'all.
Yeah.
You.
All right.